Shout out to everybody here on the live. We just jumping in. 10-minute countdown. I'll see you guys soon. 3 for 3, baby. Let's go. When I need you the most, you always go. When I need you the most, you go. And all Check. Is this thing on? Shout out to everybody here on the live. Thank you for jumping on in. Here's a mess. Shout out to everybody jumping on into the live. Thank you for being here and sharing your most precious asset, which is your time. Welcome. Anyway, let's break it down here for BTC. Let me bring that music down for you. I think that's a pretty good level. And might bring it down a little bit for me and bring it back a little bit for you. Like that track, keeps the energy high, you know what I mean? That is not what you're supposed to see. You're supposed to see me. That's right. Shout out to everybody here on the live. Thank you for jumping on in. If you took the call yesterday, let me explain what happened. I made close to $3,000 while I networked and went out to dinner last night. And I can teach you how to make more money than the average person while you live your dreams every single day. All right, I'm on a 3-win streak too on MEXE, and I've made over $5,000 since I've been here. And I mean, that paid for my entire trip already, including the $5,000 I won playing blackjack. So made 10 grand so far in 2 days in Vegas. I mean, you gotta love that, right? So, and I don't want to brag. I want to show you can do this too. And it's by putting your mind into abundance, number one, believing that anything is possible, number two, and going after goals and setting goals and going after them every single day and not letting any distractions in your way. There's going to be so many distractions. A girlfriend that doesn't understand your vision. You know what I mean? Friends that don't realize that they're pulling you down. Even your mom and dad might be talking ways that are just low frequency and you're on another level, and that can be hard. So remember, keep pushing, keep doing your thing. It takes time. Success is, they always say Rome was not built in a day, 100%. It's day by day. Everyone wants it right now, but it doesn't happen right now. It happens over time. I'm going to show you how to do it, and I'm going to show you the grind every single day here on the channel. Last night, inside the group, I'm up at I don't even know, all sorts of strange hours. But look, I mean, this is the 3-win streak, volatility master, baby. We're going up and down with it. And then last night, I even gave you a trade on the 15-minute right there. Put a stop loss right there. Let's see if that it can pump up. Now, 78,451 is the target. But that thing did a nice move. Let me show you. That thing blasted to the upside. It went all the way almost to 78,000 last night. 78,077 or something like that. And then it started to come down. But that's a beautiful trade. You can see the 21 above the 200 in the flag. Low stochastics. I do the same thing over and over and over again. I'm like a quarterback. I throw it this way with precision, man. I don't really care about your quarterback, what your quarterback does. My quarterback throws with precision, all right? So you can take your strategy and garbage it up, throw it in the trash, and you can come on with me, and we can hit like clockwork, baby. Let's go. So check it out. If you're struggling, you're losing money, you have emotional issues, I can help you with all of those things, including your trading. You got to join the trading group and get yourself aligned. Go to CryptoLifer.com to find out more, all right? So here's the deal. We had that huge pump to the upside. I had actually a stop right here, a little tight. They kind of grabbed me, I guess. It was strange. I didn't think I got grabbed because I'm pretty sure I put it here. Or maybe I got hit here. Maybe I got hit there in the morning. But it was hard for me to trade with all the weird time differences. But I still did it, and we nailed this bottom right here yesterday. How did I tell my students? It was very simple. I gave a post when we were here. We started to get green. I said, if I get a 2-hour candle close that's green, look at right on the 200 moving average. I've used the 200 so many times, and I opened up a long here, almost a $500,000 long, and just walked away. And this thing ripped, and then I sold, man, pretty close to the top, like right into this wick. So, and it wasn't a huge move, 76,000 up to about 77.8. But all I need is if I can put a position the same size as Bitcoin, basically, you know what I mean? Like, say you have 30 grand and you use 2x leverage, that's 60,000. Say Bitcoin was 60,000. Then you can make whatever Bitcoin makes. See, I learned this one day. I said, I just need to make $1,000 to $3,000 a day. If I can do that, I'm happy, man. It doesn't mean it's going to happen every day, but that's my goal. That adds up. That can turn into 15 grand a week. That can turn into 60 grand a month. And that can turn into over $500,000 a year. That's the highest tax bracket in America. And that's one of my 7 streams of income. Just one, right? So I use leverage as a stream of income, not as I don't plan on making trillions of dollars trading leverage. I plan on making billions and billions of dollars creating businesses, brands that align with the way I feel and the way I believe, Like I like health drinks. I like juices. I like extracts from certain things, I see myself creating a health company later on that helps people, because that will help you as a trader. If you're vibrant, if your mind's right, you can trade better, right? And I believe everything is connected. Exercising, your diet, how you treat yourself, how you talk to yourself, how you meditate, all this has everything to do with your success. If you're struggling as a trader, a lot of times it has nothing to do with your trades and everything to do with your lifestyle and the way you're living, you know? So take a look here. Shoulder, kind of head, kind of shouldery, right? Like, it doesn't look amazing, but that could be looked at as a head and shoulder. A lower high on the 2-hour time frame. Beautiful pump, but is it sustainable? Shout out to everybody here on the live. Let me jump on into the chat and see what's happening in the chat. Shout out to Greg Novak coming through with the McLaren today. He'll be pulling up around the end of the show at 9 a.m. You don't have to treat leverage like a casino. Become a master starter and trade leverage at CryptoLifer.com, baby. CryptoLifer.com. Sammy the Bull over here. Hey. The big Batman. Yeah, it could be a big Batman. I see what you're saying. Oh, I mean, that was Tiger. We had this top. I did not short it perfectly. I could have. It was beautiful. I just watched it. But we called this. We got the huge pump. That's the big money. Came down, called this, got the huge pump. So I hit this exact bottom area. Really good at calling local bottoms and local tops, extrapolating money out of the market, right? Look, low stochastics on the 200 moving average. High stochastics away from the 21. Remember that. I buy near the 200 or near the 21. I sell away from the 21 or away from the 200. This happens on every asset in the world. I don't care. Is there I'm trying to think of something. Like, can we watch corn? I've never done corn, right? Like, I don't even know what corn is, but Takaram corn. So what I want to show you is, look, this was here. When the 21 came on top and price action hit it, we were gone. This happens on any asset you ever used. It doesn't matter what it is. You could trade literally field mice, man. I know it sounds ridiculous, but you could trade anything. And it happens with the 21 and the 200. Like, if you just use the 21 and the 200 for the rest of your life, like, you're going to nail it. Like, I really feel like there's nothing. I know I'm a little pompous about my own system because I believe in it so much. Like, look, I'm on jet lag time. I'm barely paying attention, and I'm making more money than most people that stare at the charts all day. Like, that's got to give you an indication that something that I'm doing is helping me, and I want to help you. So remember that. Fed day today too, man, and that's going to create a bunch of uneasiness today. And, you know, they're not going to raise the rate or lower the rate. It's going to stay flat. It's a nothing burger today. And I believe Jerome Powell still is his last one. This is his last time. And then we have Kevin Warsh. So this will be the last time you ever see Jerome Powell on that podium, man. And honestly, I'm kind of sick of the dude, man. You know what I mean? Like, he claimed to be not bipartisan, but he wasn't. Like, you could clearly tell he was leaning left. You know what I mean? No matter what. And he always said, we keep politics, but he didn't. You know what I mean? But anyway, that's up to you to decide. It's not up to me to figure out. It's completely up to you. You do whatever makes you happy. So there we go. Let's take a look at our big top-down analysis. We'll start fresh again. I did sell my trade, so I'm not in a trade right now, which I'm like, okay. Happy I did. Look at the dump that came after that to the downside. When I'm up 1,000, 2,000, 3,000, I'm moving the stop loss. Like, if I'm up 2,000, my stop loss is $1,000. If I'm up 5,000, my stop loss moved to 25 or $2,000. I'm going to get, once you're up a substantial amount, do not round trip that trade back to zero, please. And I'm not a financial advisor. Nothing I'm saying you should be taking as financial advice. But, man, the key to winning as a trader is once you're up, make sure you don't go home with nothing. That's a big, that is like, you know what I mean? And I remember, like, when I first learned, got on the trading group and I had a mentor, and he said to me, he's like, the first rule of trading is not lose money. He's like, the second rule is look at the first rule, right? And it was funny. It kind of was like, what are they saying to me? Like, it seemed so simple. Like, it really wasn't advice. Like, what does that mean? And when I really thought about it, it was like, well, what it means is go out of your way to not lose money as much as you can. You know what I mean? Everyone else is trying to make money all the time. But if you focus on not losing money, over time, you're gonna come up with defensive strategies that keep you from losing a lot. Remember on my live stream yesterday? I wasn't right. I went at a couple scalps. The scalps were small. I think I lost like $300 in total, right? And then last night I made about $3,000. So the key is, when you're wrong, be okay with it. And another big reason of how to do that is to respect the trend. Like, say you draw a trend line and you believe the price is, like, let's go back to yesterday and what was happening on the 1 minute. Again, my strategy works amazingly well. last night, you're sitting here. It's Wednesday at 5:30 our time here, and you watch price action close a 1-minute candle above the 200. You open the long with a stop loss below. Look at that. The massive bump to the upside ensued. Then what you do, you sell when the 21 is away from the 200. See how wide they get? I learned this, and you can see this on bigger time frames and smaller time frames. Like, this happens everywhere. So remember when we were ripping? So everyone knows that I sell when the 200 is away from the 20. When the 200 and the 21 are very far apart. It's a sell. It's a screaming sell. And look, what is big? Like, so look, Bitcoin told you to buy here and get out around here. Look, this is very simple stuff. You buy it, bullish divergence, preferably below the 200 with very low stochastics. You know you're getting a discount. Like, that is discount. This is the discount. This is the premium. This is the average price action, right? We're back at average price. You see, we're not, for this market, this could be come back into a discount because we're near the what? The 200 moving average. It doesn't matter where you are. Listen, make a box, all right, around the 200. Anywhere this far ahead or this far below, that is fair. That's a discount, okay? Price action expands. The 200 expands with price, but eventually price gets so far away, and here's the 21, and then here will be the 200. When the 21 and the 200 have this massive gap, okay, that's where you want to start taking profits. This happens on the 1 minute, the 10 minute, the 15 minute, the 1 hour, the 4 hour, the 8 hour, the 12 hour, the daily. Most people, see, when I first started this, I figured it out on the 1 hour and the 4 hour. And my brain's like, okay, I got a handle. But then, next thing you know, I added the 8 hour, the 12, and I was confused. My brain couldn't handle the extra time frames. You see what I'm saying? Let me explain to you. This is what happens. I'm going to teach you something about the mind right now. And I know all you want is charts and money, but this is going to make you more money than the charts. A lot of people don't understand this. You're a chess player. This is your brain. The two hemispheres of your brain, all right? You don't have to have eyes and nose, right? You got a brain. But here's the deal. There's you. You're playing chess. I don't know if you've ever played chess, but this is a great example. And you're sitting on the board playing against somebody. And when you first play chess, you know only so much. Maybe you've played 100 games. You only have so many scenarios that you can think of that the person on the other side of you can do, right? You don't really know what they're going to do. Now, after 3 to 4 years of playing chess, and maybe what if you played chess every day at a chess club, and you did it for 2,000 days like I did trading? Imagine how many plays you would understand. And when you first played chess, you could only keep like, okay, he could move his his horse here. He might be able to move his pawn up, and then his bishop could come through. He might move this pawn up, his bishop could come through, or the horse. And you kind of like, maybe you can hold 4 ideas in your head. But then it gets, you can't, you're not that good at it. As you get better at chess, you can hold more of these subconscious what-ifs, right? And you can compound the brain. And what happens is now you can see so much more about, and now when he moves this, you can be like, okay, and then you can scrap all the other ones and then build 20 more. And see, the thing about chess is the player that can see how many steps ahead than the other player, like that's the key. Same thing in trading. You start trading and you don't see the market like I do. There's no way you could. It's impossible. Don't compare yourself to someone that's been in the market for a long, long time. Like, you're just not going to have these your subconscious mind's not going to be as strong as mine to keep the data. But don't worry, it's just like going to the gym. The more you lift weights, the stronger you get. If you keep doing the trade, it's like I'm doing it. You keep watching price action. And that's why I love that we're doing analytic bot trading, but I also feel like it's going to give me an edge because everyone's going to rely on that. And it's almost like if you have something read a book for you, you may never learn how to read, right? It's kind of like that. Like you can, or if you have an audio book, it's good, but I heard like reading the words off the page does something for you, right? When they come into your mind, like, and you translate the word through the eye, that does something. It helps you retain the data, right? I do audiobooks, don't get me wrong, because I kind of have to. Like, my eyes get burnt out staring at the screens, and I had to save my eyes, but I still want the information. What I want to tell you is, make your goal right now. Say, if you're a religious person or you have a good connection to God, right now say a prayer and say, Dear Lord, help me establish a strong subconscious mind. That's going to make you a great trader. Like, that's what you want to pray for. You don't want to trade for money. You don't want to pray for being an amazing trader. You want to pray for, let me really build my subconscious mind bank. Let me work on it. Eventually, like I can have like no sleep, barely see the screen, and if I see the 21 over the 200, I'm buying it. Like, look, this was the same thing that happened here. We had a flag. We had the 21 above the 200, and you had your measured move. This is the weekly, right? And it told you where you're going. Then we had, look, bearish divergence and the 21 away from the 200. I told my students, like, Anytime you see bear div and the 200's away from the 21, you're going to get rocked. If you were watching my channel, we went over this over and over and over again. I said, if that's not a top, I said, then my system doesn't work. I said, it doesn't work. Like, I said, that has to be a top for my system to be right, because it wouldn't make any sense. You get it? I know that we bottom on bullish div on the weekly. We top at bearish div. We did it like they gave you exactly, they did the same thing they did last time. All right? The only interesting thing about it is there's a lot of money waiting behind the scenes, and Bitcoin's getting scarcer. So you have to, take that into account. Now, we have a lot of people on the fence right now. This was a rally. A lot of people say bear market rally. That's all it was. It was a nothing burger. I'll tell you what, it came to the next resistance. You knew that we were going to have resistance here. Why? Because if you're just a simple support and resistance trader, the last tweezer bottom on the weekly is going to be where you're going to have to sell your big trade. That's a fact. And if you just get in tune with realizing that you have to take profits and not every trade's a big dream. Yeah, I took like almost $3,000 last night. Would I've loved it? I was up like $6,000 at one point when I was at dinner. I didn't, I wasn't able to, and then when it really spiked again this morning, I wasn't awake for it. So the time difference threw me off a little bit, because I would have been up at my time, 6 a.m. Instead, I wake up at 9 a.m. here. You see what I'm saying? But it's 6 a.m. here. But anyway, the whole point is, no, I'm not whining. I'm just explaining how, you pay the trader, man. You pay the trader, and you keep moving. And you don't complain about what you made. Oh, I shoulda, woulda, coulda. That should is the worst word. I should have done it. It's over, man. You know what I mean? Even I have to always tell myself, hey, reset, man. It's over. So, could this become a bear flag? I'm open-minded, everyone. Anything is possible. What if it goes sideways? This could go up, down, up, down. We could go sideways until July, folks. And then in July, we could dump. I don't think people, that's a possibility to me. We go to 47,000. I kept seeing 38, 54, They seem like a fair, right now I believe the price to create, you want to go to lookintobitcoin.com, right? To find out the value of Bitcoin, how much it costs to create Bitcoin. I thought I went to lookintobitcoin.com. Oh, I guess that is Bitcoin Magazine. But what I wanted to see is, I'll find it anyway. I'll ask AI, but could you get me that data, man? How much it costs to make a Bitcoin right now? I think it's 54,000. But I'll keep my ear open. Yeah, so anyway, the idea is Bitcoin doesn't like to go below its priced, how much it costs to create an electricity. Right now, I believe that's 54,000. I could be wrong. The last time I checked was a while back. So I can't be 100% positive about it, right? 87? What? Between 40 and 80. Interesting. Sam, look at the 5-minute chart now, then back at the weekly. They look the same. The last. Yeah, exactly. That's what happens. Yeah, what I'll do is, what I like to do too is you can split screen. This is really cool. This will help you too extrapolate data. You split screen, right? Then you go to Bitcoin. Like he said, we'll go to Bitcoin on another chart, the Bybit. And then we'll go up here and we'll change the time frame to 5 minutes on the one on the right. Okay. Double click so you can see it. And then here, he said the weekly looks just, and then you keep the weekly open. I see what you're saying. There's the double bottom. Kind of, yes and no. You know what I mean? What I'm seeing is high stochastics, but then I'm seeing a bear flag on the 5-minute time frame, right? And that's a bear flag, folks. That's the model that we choose every single day on the channel, upside down. Telling me I may have myself a short here to the upside. And what I love about making like $3,000 in your sleep, now I can go 300 for 900 right now. If I lose, I don't even care. See what I'm saying? If I hit, I make $900. So now I can scalp with low risk and not stress myself because I went hard on the bigger trade, right? And that's another one of my strategies. It's the way I kind of see the market, and it helps me. So look, I mean, that looks bearish right now. I have to be honest. The 1 minute lost to 200. That's a long. That's a short. Just like when the 1 minute, and I can flip this chart upside down. It's the same trade. That's the long that you could have took last night, but no, that's the short. Hey, you get above the 200, you long. When the 21's away from the 200, look, this is exactly what I showed you on the weekly. The 21 away from the 200, bear div, that's when you get out. You see that on the weekly, you can't act like that's not a top. Look, you did it here. You made bear div, okay? And if you can't see the bear div, here, I'll show you. Hit indicators, type in RSI. RSI is a great way to find divergence, all right? Divergence is when you have an uptrend in price, but a downtrend on the RSI, okay? Same thing here. Look, you did it both times. When you do it, your 21's going to be away from the 200 because that's the predicament you're in, right? Very simple stuff to use. Like, you could use 2 lines and divergences, man. I could trade with divergences in 2 lines. I can trade with support and resistance. I can trade with candle bodies. I can trade with Fibonacci. I can trade, heck, I can use money flow and market cipher if I want. I can use like almost anything out there to trade. And I can show you everyone's system inside of everyone's system. Like, I have an analytic mind, and I analyzed every other trader out here, man, for years. And I took in all the data, and I can see other people's systems inside of mine. And I can see what other people are doing and why they're doing it. I find this is the greatest way to teach a beginner. Everyone can teach you the same, like how to find this momentum. Because everyone that made the trade last night, like I did, they found the momentum at some way and somehow. Whether they use money flow, a Fibonacci, a CDV divergence, whatever they did, they were able to extrapolate some reason why there was an ability to move to the upside, right? I just feel like using the 21 and the 200 is, if you're, like, say you're a beginner and you've never done this before, everyone can use a white line and a yellow line, like, you know what I mean? And so what I encourage people to do is, if you're watching me for free today and you're watching my channel and you really like what you're seeing, open up a demo account on Weeks right now. Go to Weeks, open up an account. I have a link in the pinned comments, all right? It says right here, Weeks. It's up there for you. And you hit the pinned comment, and what's going to happen there is you're going to actually have an account on Weeks, which is great. You're in, and then you can go down here to demo trading, all right? You hit demo trading, and they're going to give you about $50,000 in fake money. It's going to react exactly like a real account. Everything's going to be real. Maybe it's 20K. I don't know exactly what they give you. I think it's 20,000. And then you can begin to play with my strategy. Like, you can be like, okay, every time we lose this to 200, I'm a short. When we gain, I'm a long. And then you can do that for 100 trades. And then you want to write down every trade in a diary or keep a big, a list of it and see what happened in 100 trades. If you do that strategy, if you do that exercise, most people won't do it. They're like, oh, that will take too long. I need money now. The person that decides that the knowledge will come and then the money will learn first, and then the money will follow. I was always chasing money, thinking about money, how to make money. I never had any money. When I finally thought about structure, discipline, how to formulate my brain, how to manifest, that's when the money came. So when my mind changed, the money flowed, right? And so I always tell people, it's not, you don't think about money to get rich. You think about strategy, structure, and discipline. And you formulate a plan, and you stick to it until you win. That's it. There's no other way. You can do it in trading. You can do anything you want. It doesn't matter. This is kind of a symmetrical triangle. I could somewhat see it go either way. Today is Fed Day, and with all the stuff going on, maybe we just stay away. Crazy. Fed Day during the Bitcoin conference. I don't remember that happening ever. Maybe it did last time. No, I think we were earlier last year. So, yeah. Weeks is, what are you talking about? These people are so strange, man. Put him on timeout for a little while. Yeah. Free your mind, and the rest will follow. And the rest will follow 100%. 100%. So look, that could go either way. I was going to short it, but now I'm looking at the 1 minute, and I could see that kind of make an Adam and Eve double bottom. They may rip this right back to the 200 moving average. It's looking like it's going to pump, like kind of like a little shoulder there, a little bit of a head and a pump. Look, there's the cup and handle. There's the cup. There's the handle. You should rip up to the 200 moving average, back to 76,763 for Bitcoin. It is a bit of a symmetrical triangle, but you can see this nice bottom that we just made at 76,500. Anyway, let's extrapolate the data. Let's look at the bigger picture, and let's start to see if we can find ourselves a live trade here on a beautiful, beautiful Wednesday. Gorgeous day to be alive. Shout out to everybody out there. I appreciate all your viewership, your love and support. It means the world to me. Especially when I'm traveling, I'm hanging on by a thread, man, with jet lag and barely able to make it through. I appreciate it. Yeah. I don't trade now. Time frame. I don't know what that means. Sam gives us the sauce. I've been following you for over a year now, Crypto Lifer. I love you, my man. A legend. God bless you, brother. Thank you. Class is in session. Rave Song Records. Pay attention to Mr. Price. Come and join the 99. Let's go. And last night was insane, man. Last night was insane. We went out to Bazaar Meats, and it was crazy. We had like 5 waiters around us, 14 people or 12 people. It was a big dinner. Wagyu all night. It was awesome, man. It was a pretty penny, too, I'll tell you that. But it was worth it. It was a great memory. And we'll have that memory for the rest of our lives. So look, I see some hidden bullish divergence here. I also pull a Fibonacci, and on the bigger scale, I see us bouncing right below the 786 and then closing candles on the 786, and now we're kind of getting closer to the 618. This tells me that there's a good chance that we break this high before we break this low. That's what it tells me. And there's really strong support here at the previous high of the last cycle, which Bitcoin doesn't like to break, just like here, the previous high of the last cycle. It doesn't break that candle close. It came into the wicks, never broke the candle close, right? So this would be a great place for Bitcoin to rest and begin its next journey to the upside. On the macro scale, looks pretty interesting to me. The low stochastics, I mean, yeah, the last time we were this low, we did get a move, but there's some other indications that I want to show you too. Also, we're getting the first white bar in the MACD. That's usually the beginning of the turn. Like when we got the first white bar here, we had 2 more months, and then we started to kind of begin the bull run. Are we 2 months away from a massive pump that never stops for 2 years? It's possible. Some bears may get caught up. See, there's other people that don't believe that could be possible at all. They say, no, only down. I don't know. I'm open-minded. It could go either way, right? We don't know. I was telling someone the other day, just like you investigate a murder, which, again, I don't want to keyword this stuff, but you investigate a murder, right? And, not you, but if you were hypothetically a detective, and say you're not sure. It could be the father. It could be the boyfriend. It could be the local guy that worked. You don't know who it is. You have a few suspects, but you say it's Matt for sure? No, because what if it's Kevin and you were guaranteeing it's Matt? What you do is you collect data on them all. You interrogate them all. You say, hey, you were involved. I just want to ask you a few questions. If you're innocent, it's going to be fine, And so just like trying to find the culprit, I call trying to find the trade is the culprit. You're trying to find the trade. And you're trying to see, should I go short? Should I go long? And you're looking for all these different pieces of information, and you're staying open the whole time. See, a lot of people can't do that, so when they watch me stay open, they think it's flip-flopping, but that's actually what happens when you become more of a pro trader. You realize all the losses you had in life were because you thought you knew better, and you told yourself you knew it, and you had an ego, too. You had an ego, you had to be right, you wanted to show your friends, you wanted to post on your Discord and get this, adrenaline rush when you were right. It's all about being right. I was right. I don't care about being right. I care about getting money. You know what I mean? And I just want to make sure that you guys learn from me and see how I make money. And then if you see it day in and day out, and you watch it over and over again, hopefully it'll rub off, right? Just like I started listening to Jim Rohn every single day, and then his philosophies, his way of life, his consistency, it rubbed off on me. I started to do the things he talked about, and it changed my life. Anyway, the monthly has never faked out. It has never broken out. Actually, one time it did, but most of the time. And even there, it still went on a little. But that was one. It broke out, and then it did eventually fake down that pattern. However, we had the massive divergence. We were right here. So, of course, that was going to happen. We were basically right here, right off the divergence near the 21. See, there's where you were, right on the 21 after the bear div. Hey, you are after the bear div on the 21. You lose the 21, and then you usually find a bottom. Look, this is 1, 2, and the bottom was only a little bit away from the 2 red candles. We've had 2 massive red candles, and I'm just saying, that looks very similar to the previous bottom, right? You make your own decisions on this. I'm just giving you the data, but, right? It looks pretty interesting. I don't know about. So, that's interesting to me. That's something I can't ignore. Even if I want to be bearish, I'm like, huh. So I got the curving RSI here. The RSI, the lowest it ever got when it dipped, is right there at about 40. We're sitting at 43. Maybe we go a little lower and hit 40, but we're very, very low. That's insane. Look at that head and shoulder on the RSI. And look, we never even hit, that's the end of a bull run. We never got there this time. That's why everyone believed, there's a chance this is a super cycle. Because think about it. This was just a pullback, boom. That's going to be the one, right? It's going to be shaded. It's got to get shaded. See how this turns into a shade? You see the gradient in there? And I learned this when I started using the RSI, and they changed it with the gradient. Basically, you need to see that gradient. You need to see that gradient, or it's likely not the top. You know what I mean? The 52-week. I was about to say, why didn't I see it? Because I was using the 52-week chart. So, the monthly looks good to me. It's interesting. It even has a bullish cross right now on the stochastics RSI, see? However, that right there, we did a little fake one, but this looks curved up. And it's pretty far away from the red right now. That's also a pretty good indication that we may have bottom. So I was leaning a few weeks ago, 90% chance that we bottomed. I can see a little bit of a struggle right now, so I'm leaning more like an 85 right now because of certain data. But right now, I mean, I'm definitely over 80% that we have bottom there. I put a lot of money down there because if it's not the bottom, I feel we go somewhere to near the lowest we go somewhere is near the 40s. And my buys at 60, 62 will only be down like 50%. And I've held Bitcoin for about 10 years now. I've been through so much drawdown in my life. That's nothing. Like, that's nothing. And the Bitcoin that I bought way lower at these prices supplements any pullback that I have from the new Bitcoin that I bought. So it's not even, I'm not even down. I'm still up. I got into Bitcoin, a little under $1,000. I knew about it when it was $350. I was getting emails about it telling me to buy it, telling me the Chinese were going to buy it. It was going to go to 500. I saw it go to 500. And at first I thought it was just a stock. And I was into stocks. I wasn't a penny stock trader, but I trade $1, $2 stocks. And I was like, I'm not going to buy a share that's $500 a share. I'm like, how much money can I make? I only got $5,000. I can buy 10 shares. When you first start trading, you think you need a lot of shares. Like, yeah, it's more enticing to buy a 2-cent coin than a $2 coin, right? Oh, I can have 2 million Shiba Unos, right? And that kind of gets people going, right? I want all my SHIB, all my Pepe. So anyway, I haven't seen anyone really talk about the fact that this trend line has breached on the monthly. I don't watch a lot of TA, though, so that doesn't really mean anything. But I do scan Twitter, and every once in a while I get some recommended TA videos, and I do look at them, right? Anyway, so that's the first thing. We have strong support at 66,500 for sure. Like, there's just the, or 66K even. You go a little lower, like right there. It's really, it's 64,800. And I see where this candle body actually closed. 64,628. Yeah. So to me, it's around 65K. You have strong support. You would have to close a monthly candle below 65,000 for me to believe we're going down to 40K. And that what would happen is next month, and April will close green, likely going to close green, right? Let's be honest. And when the monthly closes green, the next month should be green. Like May should be green. We should pump up to the 21-day moving average. Once you start the extrapolation of all the bears, of all the cells, and right here you extrapolated all the cells, you tend to go up towards the 21-day moving average. That will be your next rejection point. So it's telling me too here that we're likely to come up in time, even if it's bearish, and we don't make a new all-time high ever again. I feel there's a very high probability that we get up here to the $90,000, $89,000 area. So that's something you got to just like keep in your mind and focus on. And that's why I go over the monthly for you every single day, so you don't have to. You just got to show up with me, and we're going to go over it together. I'm going to keep you disciplined. I'm going to show you the way together, and you show up every day, so I show up every day. This is synchronicity. It's a beautiful relationship we have together. You show up, and I know you're going to be here. I know there's going to be over 1,000 people waiting for me every day. Would you show up if you knew there was 1,000 people waiting for you? 100% you would. 100% you would. And so why would I take a day off? If I know every day I go live, there's going to be over 1,000 people there. Why would I take a day off? It never made sense to me. You know what I mean? So, and shout out to everyone that supports me. If you guys didn't show up, I wouldn't show up. You created the show. I used to stream to 3 people. Someone made fun of me. I'll never forget it. I said, I got my channel. I'm doing my, and he goes, oh, you and the 3 people that you stream to? And if you're watching, I see you now, man. I see you now, But people made fun of me. People laughed at me. No one truly believed in my vision but me, man, My wife even thought it was cute when you were streaming. I didn't think it would turn into anything, but you needed something to do, she said. She's behind me 100% now, but she even admits at the beginning she thought it was a hobby. You know what I mean? Now we travel the world, do things you never believe. $5,000 dinners and Wagyu steak, and it's insane. It's absolutely insane. So put your mind, just believe anything is possible, everyone, please. And get away from negative people, man. I used to listen, what happens is you hang out with halfway friends. They're halfway people. They're never going to go 100%. They're like 50, 60% people. And you kind of, water falls to the level. If you hang out with 5 lame people, you're the 6th lamest guy, right? Like that's the whole saying. And sometimes you got to be alone to transition. I really have to believe that. You have to like extrapolate. Just like, someone goes to NA, they have, drug problems. They tell them people, places, and things. The best way for them to start over is to extrapolate the people in their life that they do drugs with, right? It's just the same thing when you're low frequency mind. You're not thinking properly. You always have negative thoughts. You're around people that probably have that. You don't realize it either. You guys hang out together and play video games, and the conversation is low frequency. No one's talking about a goal or a dream. They're talking about their neighbor or some drama or some gossip, right? People that grind talk about their business, talk about a vision. People that go nowhere talk about other people, talk about gossip, man, right? So listen for people that use gratitude in their voice. Gratitude when I meet a lady the other day, and I walked into her shop, said, hey, how you been? She's like, oh, I'm just so grateful today. And I'm like, this lady's on point. Like, the second word I heard out of her mouth is gratitude, And people that have great gratitude in their heart, they gravitate towards each other. You'll find other people that have gratitude, and you'll create this, like, network of people that are striving for just an amazing life. I'm telling you, it's happening to me every day. The people I met here in Vegas are all awesome people that were in my Discord, loved me, supported me, and they know the information, too. They're so smart. Anyway, let's get back to the 2-week chart, but I just want to make sure you're working on your mind as much as your trades. Listen to the Jim Rohn every single morning if you can. Half an hour, 10 minutes, 20 minutes, read something. And today we're going to go over some Jim Rohn quotes later on. I never told you how to figure out the difference between Austin and Aaron at Altcoin Daily. I forgot yesterday. Please, someone remind me. I probably will forget again. But if not, okay? If not, I will tell you. It's a secret. And I figured it out. And I think maybe I did say it. I think I did say it. Yeah, I think I did say it. Now I remember saying it. My mind is pretty shot right now. So, yep. And, we're going to go over some Jim Rohn quotes today to kind of keep you fresh and keep you going. So let's take a look at what happened here on the 2-week chart. 2-week chart's pushing up on the stochastics RSI. That's bullish. Every single time the 2-week got to this level, we had a massive move. Let's take a look. We're going to actually, this is a fun thing to do. You put a line H here, Alt H, and that puts this line. So you can see when were we here last? And then put a V every single time we touch that line. And now what you're going to do is you're going to basically see what happened every time we were right there on the blue line, right? You're just trying to get data. Massive pump, little bit of a winky move and a pump, but that's when we were getting towards the end of the run, right? So, maybe we could have, but it's telling you 2 out of 3 times we went on a massive run to the upside. So that's an interesting way to see where were we here, how much more momentum could we have, right? 2-week chart looks good to me. The MACD's about to cross, looks amazing. It was definitely in the low zone. Let's look at the MACD. Never hit this level ever in the history on the 2-week chart. Never. The sell pressure was never that hard. So that tells me another reason, that's just another indication that we definitely may have bottomed, folks. That was the 15K when we got sold to, as hard as possible. And we are lower in this instrument than there. You think about this stuff. This stuff is measuring momentum. And it's pretty good at it. These equations are strong. And so if you're seeing a lower value area in the second equation, like it's telling you, hey, it's a good chance we've bottomed here. So there's a lot of data that suggests. And then here, go to right here, 72,831, right? That's a resistance. Very strong resistance. I cannot be bearish unless we close a 2-week chart below 72,800. We can play games here all we want. We can dump. We can do whatever, right? All right, let me move that to the... I need a draw. We can do whatever here. As long as we don't go below... You close a candle below here, then you have to start thinking maybe, we're going to double tie, or, something is not going our way. And that's okay. Then we can short, make money short, and then we'll have to get ready to extrapolate, more information or to DCA at lower prices, right? When I see that, I just get my DCA ready to go. So bang. So 2-week chart looks okay. And remember what I said, the 2-week chart has to dump first. It takes 2 weeks to make this candle. We now have 11 days and 10 hours. The first 3 days of a 2-week chart, you do want to dump. You don't want to pump. Look at this. Like you dumped a little bit, you came back up. This one, you pumped first. Red candle. This one you had a little bit of a dump pumped up, a little bit of a dump pumped up. So sometimes, the bigger candle, the bigger the move. Like that one had a nasty dump pop. This one had a horribly nasty dump. When it came back and won that trade, bullish engulfed on the candle, massive move to the upside, right? And again, that same idea that we could come up towards that 21-day moving average. Just like you come down to the 21 after you pump away from it, you tend to come back to it. Like, how many times have you seen me after we pump? I say, hey, listen, price has to come back to the 21, right? It makes perfect sense. No big deal. The only thing I do see, and I'm going to mention it, is like, you see this too. You can see this shoulder, right? A head and shoulder pattern. Like, if this ends up turning out, you got to see that that's a really, really awesome measured move. You take the wick to the wick, you throw it over here, and it heads all the way down to all the way up to $125,000 Bitcoin. Now, we're upside down right now. But these are great exercises for your mind so you don't get caught up in watching price action like it has to be on a plane, an airplane, get it? On a plane. But the idea is this. What you can do is you can say, okay, well, up is down and down is up. And that hit me one day when I realized that like price action didn't care where I stood. You know, like if I was on the ceiling right now, it would be the same trade as if I was standing on the floor. You know, it hit me and I was like, started flipping the charts upside down. A lot of people say, how do you flip the chart, Sam? I don't know how to do that. You hit Alt-I to flip the charts. And I'm going to give you a bunch of keyboard shortcuts right now. Alt-T creates the line. So you can do really fast. You can't be going to touch that every time. You got to make it happen, right? Alt-H gives you horizontal lines. Alt-J makes a ray right to where you're at. You're here, you're here, you're here, right? Boom. Alt-F brings Fibonacci real fast. Those are like the 5 you really need the most. I think it's 5, right? And there you go. All right. And then Control-Z deletes everything real quick if you want to just go back. Or you can go to the tree, the object tree, and hit Shift and then delete a whole section if you want inside the object tree. This shows you everything that you've done. Another cool thing about the object tree, say you did a weekly analysis. But you know how when you do weekly analysis and then you go to the smaller time frame, a line might be in the way. Or if you do a 1 minute or a 10-minute analysis, it's all squiggly here. What you can do is you can do this, right? Then you can basically put this all inside of a group, right? You're supposed to right-click it, I believe. Hold on. Yeah, create a group. You hit this, and that's group 1 now. And what you can do now is you can take that off, and you can label this weekly analysis, right? So you can label this weekly. I don't show this a lot. I've never really shown this before. A few times, but it's been a while. And then you can do another one. And you can do your 1 minute or whatever. I tend to just use 2 charts. Like I'll use the Binance chart, USDT. I'll use the buy bid spot. And that way I don't even have to think about it. You know what I mean? And I just do what I do's. I do's what I does. So I like this breakout here. I like where the candle body is. Things are looking pretty good. Now, and the 2-week chart is doing what I expect it to do if we're going to make a bigger move to the upside. So far, so good, right? Nothing's too crazy. The weekly getting above the 21, the last time we did that, it's just like getting above the 200 moving average. And look, the weekly got above it here, lost it, regained it, and was gone. It lost it, it got above it a little bit, resistance, regained it, used it as strong support, the 21 moving average, and then was gone. Lost it, got above the 21, and was gone. So we can clearly see most of the time when we close a candle above the 21-week moving average, right? We get a move to the upside as well. This is still a W-2. No, it's not your tax form. This is a W-2. Get it? This is still a W-2, and it can send it all the way up to about 94,000, right? That's the measured move of this. I just feel, or you could even go wick, but that into this cloud of liquidity. Also, on the daily and even here on the weekly, we have a beautiful gap in the VRVP that once you kind of lined up here, we knew that we were going to start going further to the upside. So, and we'll show you that on the daily because it's stronger on the daily as well. Now, the weekly just crossed the dotted line. It's another thing. You'd say, aren't we overbought now, Sam? Isn't it time to sell? And again, go over this idea. Every time the weekly crossed the dotted line, what you want to do is you want to double-click an asset. Every time it crosses the dotted line, put a V. Alt-V. Alt-V. And we'll look, last 4 times, and then here, last 4 times the weekly crossed this dotted line on the stochastics RSI, what happened? Well, massive pump there. This one wasn't a massive pump. We actually rolled over and consolidated, so okay. And this one was a massive pump, and this one was a massive pump. So the last 4 times it happened, 1 time we consolidated for a bull flag and continued. So it does tell you that what? 3 out of 4 times, 75%. And you can't say that's a 75% chance it's going to happen now. You can't do that. But what you can say is, hey, history doesn't repeat, but it often rhymes, right? And so it just tells you got to be aware of that, okay? And again, what happens is support and resistance will set you free. I've learned they're the strongest of all. I don't care what your indicator says. Like, we have to close a weekly candle above 86,000 to be bullish, and we have to close a weekly candle above 78,000, wherever this ended up opened. It opened at 78,430. So until we close above, so you know, and if we close below 72.8 here on the weekly, that's a bear. If we close above 78,600, that's bull, right? So like, simple stuff. And if you kind of keep your stuff, if you keep support and resistance very simple, you don't listen to 1,000 YouTubers, and you keep yourself kind of calculated and disciplined, This will make sense to you. What I would love is something like this, like a cup and handle. You know what I mean? Whoa, we all right? Everything all right? Everything all right? All right. Session disconnected. No, never. So here I see, like, and I like what I'm seeing here. Like, we might get consolidation on the weekly. This would be awesome because you know what to do. There's a lot of people that are really bearish. All we need to do is not get above a key level for like 3 to 4 days, and the fear comes back. And they're going to build so many short positions up here, and they're going to give us the ability to just liquidate them. Also, look, big data, like, right? You're going to zoom through here. Like, the odds of you getting to here are very high now, folks. And look, you got stuck on this high volume node. Look, that's a W. You see it? To the upside, baby. Someone explained this to me one day. It was like just like a ball. If you have a ball and it bounces, where's it going to go? It's going to bounce down the hill, isn't it? And it's crazy. Like, if you get a big close above this red line here, which is called the POC, the point of control, there's like a 90% chance you're going there. When someone first showed me this indicator, it was so simple I thought it could not be true. I was like, there's no way you can just look at that. And honestly, man, you could trade VRVP, well, and nothing else too. I'm learning, like, of a strategy of 80 different indicators and things and ideas. I can use 1 or 2 of them, you know, and many different variations. What I do is I compile them together. But what I told my family and my friends and you guys, I said, listen, I've been traveling. And when I travel, I can't stare at the charts. The internet is up and down on the plane, right? It's never perfect. I pay for it, and then it doesn't work for an hour. It happens all the time. Except in Qatar Airlines when I had Starlink rocking, and it was, like, unbelievable. Like, that was a big deal for me. But here's the deal. So whenever I'm looking at this, right, and I'm away, and I know I can't be staring at the charts, I go to candle bodies. Whenever I'm home and I'm staring at the charts, yeah, I start using moving averages and small time frames. So, like, here on the weekly, this is a trade, and I talked about this trade many times, everyone. The second this candle turned green, it was halfway up. You can front run it with a stop loss below the wick. That's game. That's money right there. That's a 5-to-1 almost, 4.45 risk to reward ratio. And you sell at the next resistance. So you extrapolate a bottom, you sell at resistance. It's very simple. Not easy, all right, because nothing is easy, but it is simple, all right? My dad said, stay away from anyone that told you it's easy, because nothing is easy, right? Nothing. Here I'm talking about how I go to bed at 12 or 1. I'm waking up at 5:30 in the morning to make sure the show keeps going, right? That's not easy, I'll be honest, at all. Kevin O'Leary did. Look at the Bitcoin watch, man. Shout out to Coin Vigilante for the watch, man. Super cool, man. You gotta love Bitcoin. It's been an amazing journey, but I want to show you this. Not the trip, but the data. Let me show you here. Keep going. Keep going. Right there. First of all, that was a beautiful call. 618 Fibonacci retracement to the upside. What else do you need? Secondly here, like 3 white soldiers. Big move to the upside. I'm showing you that we're likely going to make a big move. Liquidity gap, right? The double bottom measured move. And everything kind of following together. So pay attention. All right? Pay attention. I'm putting out this stuff free here on Twitter at CryptoLiver33. You might just get a notification, see what I'm saying. It may just, it may change your whole perspective. So follow me on X. I'd greatly appreciate that. So yeah, I just use green candles next to red ones. I started doing it when I went to Singapore because I didn't have a lot of time to stare at the charts. And then so now it's crazy. Like, and I always saw this. I just never traded hard. Like, now I go with size. The second I see a green candle next to a red one, I go with size. And then I sat there to calm myself down, and I backtested it. I said, well, how many times has it worked? I said it's worked almost every time. Had I done it here, I would have put my stop below I always do it below the red one, though. That one would have played out. Had I done it here, played out. That one would have played out. You would have been up, and then you move your stop loss to break even. Worst comes to worst, you round trip it to break even. That one was a massive pump. That one was great. That one was sketchy. It wasn't a bullet. It was a very indecision doji and had a very long wick. But if you got in after the wick, put the stop loss here, it still played out, That one played out. That one. Anyway, so I started seeing that it plays out more than it doesn't. So it told me that I should just play it when I can. The thing is to have the guts to do it. Anyone can have TA. Anyone can do TA. Not anyone, but there's a lot of good analysts out there that can't trade. There's a lot of good traders that can't analyze. I like to do both for you, man. I like to show you that I can trade, and I also like to show you that I can do a really good job showing you where we're likely going, right? So back to this idea. If the weekly candle this new weekly candle can close. Let's look here if there's any not a lot of support or resistance in this area. You have like these candle bodies. You have this wick here, which is interesting. We'll go to the smaller time frames. But if we can stay above the tipping of that wick there, like 76,000, it's likely we consolidate and we get a move to the upside. Maybe we wick up and this just rips. And the smaller time frames will teach us that. But so far, I mean, and that would take you all the way back to $92,000 Bitcoin. And that would be the shoulder, the head, the right shoulder. You know what I'm saying? And then the bears would just be kind of done. Like, they would be done. There's a lot of bears out there that have said, this is a fake rally, short it, fake rally, short it, fake rally. And then when the wick came down, like, oh, they added to their short, added to their short. Next morning, flattened. Came up, the wick came down, added to their short, added to their short, added to their short. Wrecked. Came down, added to their short, added to. I mean, I'm seeing a pattern here, don't you? I don't know if I would like. I'm so happy I wasn't short. I may have scalped it once or twice on the 1 minute, but I haven't been short. I've been staying long, man, this whole time with conviction. Remember, I told you when a green candle closes above the 5-day 200 moving average, every time I've seen that, it's been a massive, massive move to the upside. Right there, we got above it, we were gone. Right there, we got above it, we were gone. It was the beginning of the two biggest rallies Bitcoin's ever had in its life cycle. Again, we do this on the 1 minute. Look at this. I'm going to blow your mind again. Let's take this and let's do splitsvilles. Look, you can use the 5 minute. You do whatever you want. I can show you this stuff. But look, the 5 minute, look, it's playing out as we said. That short is playing out because it looks like it's supposed to. Get back into actual. And then we also do live trading on small time frames here. 1 minute, 5 minute. Heck, I've traded the 1 second on this channel about 10 or 20 times. Pretty crazy. I don't recommend that, but I just, I have done that many times. So, but yeah, that looks like a bearish now look, that's a shoulder, a head, and a right shoulder. You can clearly see this. Like, everyone's like, Sam, we don't clearly see it like you do, but like that's a head and shoulder pattern to the downside. Now remember, I was in a trade all night. I got in a trade yesterday morning. I was in a trade all night. And I was in a trade I could have lost a lot of money if I didn't handle the trade correctly. That's stress on the brain, stress on the mind. Do I want to get into a trade right now? Maybe I take the day off. You know what I mean? You don't have to trade every single day. I just want to make that clear, You don't have to trade every single day. Let me get back to the top down, and then I'm going to get in. I really want to teach today. I'm just in this teach. Some days I'm in a real teaching mode, not a trading mode. Some days I'm in a trading mode, and I barely get a chance to teach as much. And look, this is upside down, but I mean, that like almost tells me I could short it on the 1 minute. Hold on, let me see the 1 minute real quick. See, some reason it looks so much. I'm able to see the data so much clearer when I flip it up. Yeah, I mean that tells me we're gonna dump. And then we got Jerome Powell coming, and I feel like he might be hawkish, right? We're not sure what's happening, but that looks like we're headed down to 75,700 for Bitcoin. And I just missed the breakout. I just missed it. I don't like to get in. I don't like to chase breakouts. There's a 3-to-1 right there. The profit would be 75,704. Damn, I even had and the stop would be 76,752. Let's go 11,000 for 26,000. No, damn, man, I missed the short. But I saw it. I saw it clearly. Why? It's exactly what I just showed you for the last hour. It's the 21 above the 200. What else do you want? Right here was a perfect flag. Look, I did this yesterday long, or the first day we were here in Sin City on Monday, and we took this long trade. All I do is find the flag above the 200 with the 21. You just got to have the guts to execute, man, and a proper risk management to not lose it all in every single trade, man. And I'm telling you, I figured out a way to print. I don't know what and I show it every single day how it plays out. Maybe I don't take the trade every single time, but about 80%. I'm a little tight. I didn't get in at the perfect time. I saw that. That's what happens when you analyze and also would like to trade at the same time. But remember, see how the 5-day got above the 200 here and blasted to the upside? That's the same thing that happened last night on the 1 minute. You see? This is the same trade. Look, we got above the 200. You buy right now, stop loss. You got above it, you buy right there, stop loss. Gone. They made trading so simple, but what they did is they messed with the minds of men. They made people not believe in themselves. If I can get you not believe in yourself, I can lie. You can get lie. I can basically show you things that aren't true, and you'll think they're true. You know what I mean? Like, you can be lied to when you don't believe in yourself. Like, they're showing you exactly how to trade. It shows you what to do. And it happens on the small time frames and the big ones. Look, this is the 1 minute. This is the 5-day chart. There is no difference between these two charts. When you cross the yellow line, there's a 90% chance you're going the direction you're supposed to go. It's trend. Low, lower, low. There's the bull div. I caught this bull divergence. Remember on the live stream yesterday? I said, man, there's bull div right there. What is bullish divergence? Everyone wants to know, right? When you swing down on price action, all right, and then you swing up on the RSI. It's insane. Anyway, I love how you can see side-by-side comparisons of Bitcoin moving, and then you can see the 1 minute doing its thing. And it's the same trade. No difference. Once you get accustomed to this trading style, it's so easy to buy and sell. I don't want to say easy, but you have a system that you can rely on no matter what, and you can take advantage. It's pretty awesome. Like, I'm free now because I don't have to use my mind and sit there and ask 1,000 questions. I don't have to read the news. I don't have to go to Twitter and find out what Trump just said. I know that no matter what Trump says, no matter what happens in the world, if we can stay above the 200 on the 5-day, we have a fighting chance of a massive move. So let's go bearish for a second. Let's try to drink the Kool-Aid. What if it's not exactly what I say? What if it's different, right? What if we're in for a huge, huge dump? I'm open-minded, so let's stay open-minded together here and figure this out. So you got the 5-day chart. I feel like this could technically be a rising wedge. And if you close this like that, I mean, the rising wedge would break down where it began. And this rising wedge would dump all the way back down to 68,500. That's a possibility. The second the 5-day candle closes below the 200, I would be weary of a bigger long. I'd be like, dang, that kind of ends the journey. But we have some time. We got 1 day and 9 hours to find out what happens, and we go from there. Anyone know Daniel Coffin? Dude's so interesting. He's on Instagram. I met him, but I met him yesterday out there in the midst of Bitcoin land. It was pretty awesome. It was a good time. But so, yeah, I want to see the 5 days stay above this 200. I want to see this wick hold it down. Very important. But I do see this a rising wedge. I wouldn't, we have to keep that. And that's the bearish scenario. Just like I told you, we don't tell ourselves who the culprit is. We always work and work and work and try to just to keep getting as much data as we can. Eventually, it will be a little confusing for you. You're not going to understand it because I explained why that happens, because your subconscious mind isn't trained to see multiple moves at once yet. You can only see a few. Eventually, you'll be where I'm at. You'll be able to see multiple moves. It's only a matter of time, okay? It's only a matter of time. They call me the machine, man, all right? They call me the machine because there's no one in YouTube, maybe, and even crypto, that has done more consistent live streams than me in the world, man. There might be someone else. I don't know. I don't look it up. But I'd like to basically submit for some type of Guinness Book of World Records, at least for the crypto. You could say it could be a cryptocurrency, every single day, man. Every single day. Yesterday was a day I moved to Florida in 2024. I can't believe it. April 28th. It'll be 2 years. It's 2 years, basically, to the day I moved to Florida. Such an easier flight than Boston to Las Vegas. That's like 6 hours. This is only 4 hours and 20 minutes. It's a big difference. 2-hour nap and a 2-hour movie, man, and you're there. It's pretty awesome. So Las Vegas feels like a skip and a jump to me. The guy next to me was like, oh, this flight's long. And I was like, long? I was like, I went to Singapore. I was like, that's 8 hours to Qatar and then 15 hours to Dubai. I was like, I was on a plane for 96 hours last year. I was like, this is like going to the movie theater near my house, man. Like, it's like going to the local convenience store for me to fly to Las Vegas. Like, it's actually like, trading is stressful for me, man. I didn't like flying for a long time. I had fear of flying. I really did. The plane's going to go down. I don't like when I'm not in control. At least give me a parachute and tell me I can jump out. Like, give me a fighting chance, right? But that plane goes down, like, what? I got to get that little, flotation device under my seat? That always bugged me out, man. I didn't like it. I had really a lot of anxiety on planes. I would have to take, a bunch of downers and just, pass out to get through the plane ride because I had to give up my control. And I was like, this could be the one, man. And my family will never see me again, right? When I was flying to Singapore, I was so far away from my family. I was like, will I ever make it home? I knew I would, but I'd never been that far away from home in my life, And it was 12-hour time difference, completely the opposite of the world. 12 o'clock was 12 o'clock at night. It's just interesting. And, but yeah, I'll be honest, after those flights, I don't have a fear of flying anymore. I'm like, well, if I didn't die on those ones, then so be it, right? But yeah, look at the 3-day chart, man. I'm looking for some consolidation above this heavy support at 74,000, 75K. We close below 75K in the 3-day chart, I would be a little, you know. Let's get into the daily, which I know you've been waiting for this whole time. I'm sorry it took that long to get to the daily. I know you were like, where's the daily, Sam? I need the daily. Why are you doing this to me, Sam? Well, we got to, we got to piecemeal some of this to keep you watching. You know what I mean? This is how it works. But no, I'm messing with you. I'm just taking a little longer today because I'm probably a little jet lagged and a little shot. You know what I mean? Stop disconnecting me, boy. No, it's not. It's just using a weapon. I'm using a weapon. I forgot to turn it off, but hopefully it's still going, So, I also wanted to show you the MEXC trade that I made last night for $2,600. I'm very proud of it. If I hit that one, I would have made like almost $5,000, but they got me like right there in the middle of the night. Should have just kept my stop at break even, but I would have, but then none of that should have good. I'm happy with exactly what happened, man. God bless me. And I made a great trade. So there you have it. And I love MEXC still, man. It's a great exchange if it's available in your area. Not everyone, not Canada, certain areas, but if it's available in your area, man, it has some of the lowest fees of any asset in the world. Oh, there's the dump, right? Let's see. Yep, there's that. And that's exactly what was supposed to happen. Like, by my strategy, this was, and you kind of had an inverted head and shoulder there. You got tight inside the flag. How many times have you seen me do this? And look, remember, this is upside down, folks. So what I do is Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, I look for this, and whatever happens, I short or long. I did miss the entry. I was a little sloppy on it, but it happens to me when I hit a big trade at night. I don't feel the need to get into a trade in the morning. And I didn't hit any trade last night. I definitely would have been fiending to make this trade. But it's like steak. You had a big steak. Do you go eat a burger after that? No. But maybe tomorrow you definitely want to eat a burger. So. And I even went over it. I could have risked 300. I'd be already up in the money. I apologize. I like to show you guys that I'm in the money. It's kind of fun. And my ego also wants to be rubbed. So I'm being humble now. I mean, you know what? I missed the trade. Who cares, right? I gave it. I explained why it should move, and we watched it happen in real time. I just didn't have the chance to jump on in. Flip it upside down. That's the bear flag right there. All right, so the daily. Now what? Well, last night looked interesting. It looked like we were going to bounce off this, and everything looked kind of sweet and dandy. And it was looking like I was going to be, correct with this projection. Now, I don't know, man. That the way the daily's coming down on a massive wick, it's not a great sign. Like, it's not my favorite thing in the world there. Like, I don't like daily wicks that big. It's a little sketchy. It's very sketchy, right? So, what do I see happening? Well, let's look for the next big support and resistance on the daily. It's really right down there. It's 74,900, right? We could wick there. We could play games. Maybe we come back up and fill this candle yet again. The 21 is right there. When the daily hits the 21, it usually bounces. It bounced off the 21 right here, you see? And when you're in an uptrend, which we clearly are in an uptrend now. Let me just show you. You get into an uptrend. And I remember this trade. This is a great trade. We just traded the ascending triangle above the 21-day moving average, But here, and then you kind of bump and run off the 21. You get close to it. You bounce, right? You bounce there. We're kind of right there. See how we just opened a candle off the 21? And right now we're on that 21. So the bearish scenario is this makes some type of mangled, drunken, head and shoulder, and we do dump. I still see it would make a little bit of a pump in a right shoulder, maybe even a bearish retest of this trend line. So you want to focus on that idea. Let's take a look a little deeper. Not a fan of a wick like that. That's pretty sketchy, to be honest. Makes me think that we're just going to get a deeper red candle today. Somewhere right down to even into this. And there's support right there, too. Yeah, I consider this a range. This is like a bubbled area. Sometimes support isn't just a line. It's kind of a region that you've been testing many times, right? Low, higher high, higher low, higher high. Higher low, higher high. Lower low compared to that, but a lower low, on the macro, still a higher low. I'm not in love with the daily candle right now. Yeah, we gave it almost all back here on the 2-hour time frame, and this is the trade that we talked about. Sorry, the 12-hour. I was about to say, ain't no 2-hour. So yeah, man, I'm looking for some. It doesn't look likely, but if we're gonna be bullish, we need some type of bounce here. Some type of bounce, which looks kind of sketch. You need this to kind of like get back in or turn green or flip, or just, we need something like this. That's going to take some time. That wouldn't be until Friday, May 8th. That's crazy, right? That could be a week of consolidation. I'm not saying that's going to happen for sure. I project we tweak each day. Because I show up every day, we gain an edge. If I only did this every 3 days, I would lose my edge for sure. But if I show up every day, I'm able to correct or see something that we couldn't see, and we can kind of mitigate any issue. I do see this as a head and shoulder pattern. It's not the best one I've ever seen, but it's got head and shoulder vibes for sure. The daily's not looking good. The 4-hour 200 moving average, definitely a bunch of shorts right now with stop losses all in here. So there's a lot of liquidity here. Let's take a look at BOOKMAP, speaking of that. And you can see, all right, there's the late longs. They're all in there at 73,450, hoping that they can make it. They're down, or, the trade's not perfect. Maybe they chased last night at 77. They're down now in the trade, and they're maybe adding margin, right? And they're wondering what's going to happen, and they don't want to sell. See, you get stuck psychologically when you trade wrong. What you do is you buy the pump. You don't watch like me, analyze, see where the pump's going to happen, wait for it to happen exactly, enter at almost the exact perfect time as you can, like right as that 21 hits, watch it pump huge away from the 21, and then take your profits. What most people are doing is they're not sitting, they're doing the analysis I do. They don't have the discipline, and what happens is when it pumps, that's their adrenaline rush to get in. So they buy a top, then it starts to go down, and they add margin sometimes, thinking, oh, I'll balance the trade off. I'm down 2,000, I have 4,000 in the trade, I'll add another 3,000 when we dip. And now they're in deeper than they wanted to be. They never talked it through. They never wrote down in a book, I'm going to go in for 4 and then double down in margin. They never said they were going to do this, but they do it anyway. See, when you start doing things that you didn't actually tell yourself you're going to do beforehand, you're going to mess up in trades. You're going to mess up your trades. I'm telling you right now. The main reason people are losing tons of money in trading is because they do not have a plan and they don't stick to the plan. They don't. Like yesterday, I said I'm closing. If the 2-hour closes, we'll get over that. But so if you're struggling as a trader, you keep like maybe you have a win rate for a week or two, but then you lose everything. You keep liquidating the account. You just keep taking shots without having a plan. And it's a lot harder than people talk about. Like, it's way harder than people to talk about. Like, you have to sit there. Like, number one, you have to know how the 21 and the 200 work by watching my channel and becoming knowledgeable. And you have to plan. You're like, remember, if this gets tight and hit the 21, I enter the short. That's a plan, right? And then the idea is, and once I'm up, I know my plan because now I know what I do. Once I'm up, what I feel like is a substantial amount in a short period of time, 300, 500, 1,000, I'm moving that stop to break even as soon as I can. And then if we get a massive short squeeze, you know me, I'm riding that stop loss up, and I'm selling when the 1 minute's away from the 21. And I know exactly how to execute this. I have an idea and a plan. You see what I mean? So that's, yeah. And if you just keep executing an idea and a plan, you basically have to analyze where you believe you should enter. When it hits, you either enter or not. Sometimes I work on it all day, and I'm like, that's a perfect entry. And it comes there, and then something happens, and I go, I'm not taking that entry. It's not giving me what I decided I needed to get into the trade, right? Very, very important stuff today going on in the stream. I hope people are really taking it in, because they say 90% or some people lose money trading, and it's not. They think it's so much harder than it is. It's just about setting parameters and sticking to them. You got to stick to what you say you're going to do in trading. So this, we had carriers here. We had the dump. We had the kind of pullback with the lower high, though, on the 4-hour time frame. So you got a lower high on the 4-hour time frame at the POC, the point of control here, and you got rejected. Wow, we just got a nasty rejection today. Dang, man, that's and it definitely looks like a late stop hunt on all the stop hunt on all the late longs. Like, you jumped on in thinking it was sweet, and you got plastered, right? That's basically what we're looking at here. Makes me want to short it right now, but I know I have another busier day that I might not stare at the charts all day. That doesn't look good. Yeah, you can even, it looks like a lower high resistance right there at 77,000. 77.5. That's ugly price action. And then we lost the 200 moving average on the 1 hour. We were not able to really stay above it. I even said to myself earlier today when I was looking at the chart, I said, well, I could take that trade later on if we make it. We just dumped, man. I'm glad I moved. See, I moved my stop loss into heavy profit last night and made sure I got at least 80% of the trade that I had originally saw, right? Up like 4,000. I would have made $7,000 and I just paid attention while I was at dinner. We had a huge spike to that 77.8, but it's okay. I would have made more, but I'm not going to use should. I did exactly what I had to do. And so we lost this key level, the POC. We came back down, oversold. MACD looks garbage, but I mean, you got very beat down on the 1 hour. I'll tell you, a lot of days you need the smaller time frames. Without them, you're not going to understand what's happening. Look, that was even a shoulder, a head, a right shoulder. I believe in you, man. And girls, ladies and gentlemen, I believe in you guys. If you guys were able to make this channel amazing with your energy, your comments, your love and support, man, we could do anything. We can do anything in this world. I appreciate it. 15-minute. Let's go further back down here to, what, the 5? Is there a bull div on the 5-minute? Remember yesterday we found a bullish divergence that changed the day. We do have some, we have a swing up here on the 5, but a swing down on price action. I'm also looking at what look to me could be a shoulder, a bit of a head, and a right shoulder. Just like when we dump, what we do is we bearishly retest with the right shoulder. We would bullishly retest with the right shoulder here on to the upside, right? So look, could we catch the bottom again like we did yesterday after they just liquidated everybody? There's a chance. See how calm, cool, and collected we are? We're not chasing. We're not racing. We're getting in, getting out. And man, my trade yesterday, I got in at about 10 o'clock, 9 a.m. Pacific time, right? And then I got out at, looks like I got out of the trade at like 2 in the morning, right? So I was in that trade for 18 hours, man. A lot of people, when I started trading, that felt like forever. I could never be in it. Now, I do that all the time. I don't even think about it, And when I'm trading big time frames, I make it a point to not look at the charts. Because I know I might stare at a small time frame and it might get in my head. Oh my God, the 1 minute, I trade the 4 hour, I set up the parameters, I leave the stop, and I go out have fun. You know what I mean? I go have dinners, I go have business meetings, and I don't stare at the charts. I remember last night at dinner, someone was like, "What is it now?" I was like, "I don't know. I don't want to know. I don't want to look at it. I don't want to know the price of Bitcoin right now. I want to enjoy my time, I look at it all the time. That's all I do, man, every single day. And even for me to be good at Bitcoin, I need to take a break from it sometimes. Yesterday was the longest break I took from my Discord and since the last time I was really here. Funny, Singapore, I was actually better in the Discord because the 12-hour time difference made it so I could feel it wasn't as bad. It's interesting. This 3-hour time difference is a little. It's tough because I wake up at 5 a.m. or 5:30, and that's 8:30. I'm already up at 7 a.m. So I would have to get up at 4 a.m. here to have that same edge when I see the market. I do my update at 7 a.m., 7:30, and that really gives us, and then we can catch those 8 a.m. moves into 9 a.m., and it changes the whole thing, man. Gives us a higher win rate, in my humble opinion. I've always found waking up at 7 a.m. every single day, 7 days a week, I wake up at 7 a.m. Very rarely I'm up, I don't get out of bed till 8. It's only when I was really hurt with my Achilles tendon, and I was taking painkillers. I didn't like it. I was laying in bed till 8:30. I was missing updates. It was tough for me. It was really, really tough, man. I didn't like it. So it almost looks like we may continue on the 1 minute to go further to the downside, folks. And just to help you see this. Again, now we're doing the model yet again. You see, we're touching the 21 again. I can't explain this. I don't know why it happens. It doesn't really matter, right? It's just know that when you touch that 21, things get a little crazy, right? And they tend to pumpa lumpa. So look, let's take a look. I'll say look one more time, okay? Look. Now maybe I'll take this one. I missed the first one. But you're telling me there's a chance. There's always a chance, baby. So look, we slap on the short position. The stop loss is going to be 75,348. And again, I may not take this trade. I don't want people to think he's going in right now. Get ready. set it up for sure in case you feel like taking it with me. And again, I'm not a financial advisor. Nothing I say and do should be taken as financial advice. You know, do your due diligence before getting into any coin or trade, right? That's your own decision. Remember, you press the buy button, man. No matter what you learn or what you do, you press the buy button, you control the risk. And people say, can you go over my portfolio? Can we hang together? I don't do that. You know, I just don't. I'm not going to sit there and go over your portfolio with you. We could talk. I mean, we can talk the coins and stuff like that, but I'm never going to tell you what to buy or sell, how to rebalance. That's not my job. You know, I don't do that. So, yeah. Look at that, the 21-day moving average. I want to teach you how to trade any market in the world, and then you can figure out your risk management, what you want to do, and how you want to go about that. And how I usually call the bottom is I try to get the continuation short. If that goes wrong, it could be the bottom for the day. You see? Like, this is a double. I see a double bottom there. I do see a W. Strong W at 76,000. I wouldn't be surprised if somehow we regain that whole wick on the daily. But, or on the 4 hour, is it? Let me see. It's the daily, right? Yeah, like, I wouldn't be surprised if somehow, some way, this flips green and we end up coming back up here. Wouldn't be surprised just because of the proximity to the 21. Very interesting. More time. Okay. I reloaded. So we've got bullish div on the 5-minute time frame. I mean, that's a swing down. Well, that's a strong swing up. Oversold in the stochastics. It's telling us that this could make a move. I don't know. I might flip. Yeah, whoa. Hold on. Let's see here. I'm going to wait this out a couple more minutes. See, I can patiently sit here to see what the charts are going to tell me. I got some mixed signals, but any moment that signal can push to 58% over 42 or 60 over, you know what I mean? I'm just waiting for the data, man. I'm just waiting for the data. I'm watching chess. I'm waiting for the chess player to make a move. Once he moves one piece, that's going to change what I think, right? If he chooses the piece I didn't think he's going to choose, I have to rework how I'm doing this. Do we get one more push-up? Looks bearish to me on that daily. Don't look good. It's one thing I got to be honest about here. Am I all set up? And so I took about 2,700. I could risk 500 for 2,700. You know what I mean? If I lose 462, I'm still up $2,000 since last night. I don't really have to stress it. And I think this through. I say, would I be okay? How much of the lot of I won last night would I be okay with losing? And I know my number because I know what I don't like to lose, man. So I'd say, hey, if I made $5,000 last night, I could lose 1,000 of it, and I'd still be really happy with $4,000. I wouldn't like to lose $3,000 of it or 4,000 of it and only have 1,000. That would get my goat. I like 320 for 1496 personally. Dude, my dad had a funny saying. He said, I'm not a miser, I'm an economizer. You know what I mean? It's like, and look, in a second, this might go the other way. And I'll say, hey, I'm not taking the trade. My mind has figured how to do this. I don't even know what my mind's doing right now. It's using the subconscious mind. I'm not fully conscious of what's happening. I've learned that your subconscious mind is controlling your reality. Jim Rohn told me, Joe Dispenza told me, many people told me this. Most people, it's crazy. I was highly intelligent, took an IQ test, I could remember everything at school. I wouldn't write anything down, and I'd get a better grade than the kid that took the notes. My brain was so good at obtaining information, but I was emotionally frazzled. I had a lot of damage and a lot of trauma, and that got in the way of my logic, and I didn't believe I was worth it. I'd see a rich person drive by in a car, and a voice, kind of like a dark voice, would be like, you'll never own a Mercedes like that. You'll never have a Rolls Royce, That's not your life. That's for someone richer than you, And it was almost like, hey, why are you say? I'd catch that voice. I'd be like, why are you talking to me like that? Like, who are you, And I had this negative, I don't know who it was, I don't know what it was, but I had this negative Nancy in my mind. And I'd tell myself, I'm going to do great today, I'm going to do it all, and it would kind of creep up. It's like, no, you're not. You're going to be a failure just like you've always been. You're going to be full of crap like you've always been. You know what I mean? You're going to BS yourself like you've always been. I'm like, what? No, I'm not. It's really hard. I was stuck in my mind for a long time. I struggled in trading, not even because I was a bad trader, because I I didn't have confidence in who I was as a person. Like, I spoke negatively to myself multiple times a day. I put myself down a lot, you know. I wasn't my own best friend. I was my own worst enemy. And my dad always said that. He's like, you could be your own best friend, your own worst enemy. It's up to you. Like, you make that decision. You know, how are you going to treat yourself? And people, remember, when you don't treat yourself well, it's likely you don't treat others well as well. Because you learn how to treat others well by treating yourself well, right? If you eat well, then you treat your kid to eat well. If you eat garbage, your kid will eat garbage. You ever see a family at the restaurant and they're all overweight, and they have a 2-year-old kid and their 2-year-old's overweight, and you see them like giving the kid soda and stuff, and you're like, dude, like that kid's gonna be maybe 9 or 10 years old, and he might not want to take his shirt off at the beach. He might have cellulite at 10 years old because his parents have been giving him processed food since he was 2. He didn't even have a choice. Like, I see it a lot, man, and it really, like, or a fat dog. Someone has a really fat dog. It's like you're feeding your dog table scraps and he's overweight now. That's not, you don't love your dog when you're doing that, you know. And I don't know how I got into food and topics, but the idea is you got to maintain your mentality in trading, maintain your body in life, like maintain your spiritual connection to God. Think about it. Everything in life is like a farmer. If you think of everything in life as like farming, the farmer puts the seed in the ground, but he has work to do. He's got to water it. He's got to take care of it. He's got to make sure it grows to the tallest that it can grow. Like, some things grow pretty much on their own, but a lot of the great crops need tending. And if he doesn't tend the crop, what happens? The weeds come. It's not as lush. The soil doesn't, you know what I mean? You got to turn the soil. Sometimes you have to leave one soil alone, move it over so you don't keep reusing too much. So, like, there's a way to do it. Trading is the same way, folks, right? You plant seeds, you work on them as they grow, and nothing happens overnight. I'll tell you that. There is such thing as fast money. Once you've created a massive system and you've worked on it for a long time, yeah, you might start making 10, 20, 30, 50K a day. It could happen. But it's not going to happen without a lot of hard work and a lot of preparation. You know, a lot of people see successful people, and everyone thinks it happened overnight. No one sees the grind. You know, no one sees even me. If you take my life, very interesting. I started a night shift. I learned audio. I'm really good at audio. I made my own albums as a rapper. I would even mix my own stuff. I'd add compression. I'd go into the equalizer. I'd go on my highs and my low frequencies. I had fun with this stuff. And I would do mixing sessions for all the companies that I work for in the video. I even had a company at one point. I would send the video files out. Then I would extrapolate the MXF, which is like a file that basically extrapolates all of the audio in layered form. And then I would put that MXF into Pro Tools. And then I would organize it by sound effect, audio, and clean it up nice, wavelengths and all that. And so I've been working in audio for a long time and video, right? So I was destined to do something with lighting, with video, with audio. That was just, God was preparing that. I didn't know how it was going to go. You know, I worked a night shift for 6 years. Then eventually I was making David Letterman's show on Netflix. My next guest needs no introduction. I had all these behind the scene tapes of Kim Kardashian and Kanye West, Jay-Z, Obama. These are the people he interviews. Like, he interviews like big time people on that show, right? And it was a very high profile show. It was a big job for me. I would be the liaison to Netflix and make sure they got the final file and all that. It was pretty crazy. A lot of stress on me. If I had messed up data, if I messed up a file, like, something was going to be wrong, you know. And I prided my reputation in New York City as being one of the best at what I did in the Motion Pictures Editors Guild. And I was in the union. I got great union rates. I started making $175 a night, not in the union, with no health insurance. I ended making like $2,000 a week and they would match that in a pension. And I had like some of the best health insurance you could get that I didn't have to pay for. And it took me about 6 years of the night shift. 2 week, getting taken 2 weeks a year for vacation. Never being able to travel. I couldn't go anywhere. I had to be at work every day, right? I couldn't be in Las Vegas one day, Singapore the next, Dubai. Like, that was a life I never thought I could obtain. I dreamed of it. I thought of it, but I didn't even know how to like build it because I didn't even know what it was. 2 of my friends sold their company for $225 million. They traveled the world. They did a lot of cool things, and I stayed on that night shift. And some days I had a lot of angst, like, damn, how come they're blowing up? What's happening? What am I doing wrong? Like, you compare yourself to others, but God has a plan for you. You don't know God's plan. And when you put your plan in front of God's plan, you'll get very frustrated. Just know that if you put the right things in place, the right things will happen over time. You don't know when, though. Look, you're the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. Formal education will make you a living. Self-education will make you a fortune. Like, this is the biggest thing I want you to take away today. Don't wish it were easier. Wish you were better, man. If you really want to do something, you'll find a way. If you don't, you'll find an excuse, man. It's a fact. Motivation is what you started. Habits is what keeps you going. I don't know if I was motivated to wake up this morning. I'll be honest. But I knew I had to. I didn't have a choice. I told people I was going to be here at a certain time. If I didn't show up at that time, my reputation turns to mud. Oh, he didn't really say what he said he was going to do. When you tell someone you're going to do something, you have to do it. There's a Muslim saying in the Quran. It says, you are the master of your word until you utter it. And then the word is your master. Don't tell someone you're going to do something and don't do it. You don't even have to say it. You know? The challenge of leadership is to be strong, but not rude. Be kind, but not weak. Be bold, but not bully. Be thoughtful, but not lazy. Be humble, but not timid. Be proud, but not arrogant. Have humor, but without folly. Don't wish it was easier. Wish you were better. Don't wish for less problems. Wish for more skills. Don't wish for less challenges. Wish for more wisdom. I love this one. Discipline is the bridge between goals and accomplishment. We must all suffer one of two things, the pain of discipline or the pain of regret or disappointment. I'm telling you, the pain of regret is way harder than the pain of discipline. All right? Successful people have libraries. The rest have big screen TVs. I mean, that's a big deal. Success is nothing more than a few simple disciplines practiced every day. This is what made me successful. I wake up, I do the live stream. I've done that for 2,000 days down there. I listened to this man. He was successful. I listened to him. Don't let your learning lead to knowledge. Let your learning lead to action. What are you going to do? A lot of people read books, but they do nothing with the data that they get from the book. Nothing at all. Right? So, I think that shot up already. Just waiting for it to kind of push on in. I don't usually use a VEP in here, so a VP. Dang, man, there's another beautiful trade right there, right off the 21, and I had it ready to go. I'm a little shot today. I'm going to be just honest with everybody. If you can give me some grace, but I would have. Damn, I missed two beautiful scalps, and I had the money to back it. But there's your 21 inside the beautiful flag, and there's your move to the upside. Bang, 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 baby. I hope I'm making you money today. That's all that matters. Shout out to anyone. Put a 333 if you got into these trades, if you noticed how to do this, and you're seeing it. Fed Day, I'm sitting on my hands. What's the Fed Day liquidation Grinch? I don't know what that is. All right. I'm so happy and grateful now that my body restores. Yeah. Your mind is your garden. Your thoughts are your seeds. Love from Jordan today as well. God bless you, man. Thank you. From all around the world, man. Lifers, have you added the lemon to your water today? It's a good question. Let's do that as we talk about that. And this is good. This is decalcifying the pineal gland because they calcified your pineal, and it's harder for you to realize your true self. I'm being honest. Drink lemon water. Everyone says, "Oh, I have acid reflux. I can't drink lemon water." Lemon turns to alkalinity in your body. It's not acid. You actually will get a benefit from drinking lemon water. You wouldn't believe. It's the first thing you do in the morning on an empty stomach is drink lemon water. It's going to help cleanse you. It's a really good idea. And we are live in Las Vegas from Sin City. Is this a fake dump? No. I mean, the daily doesn't look good. Looks like a nice short here. You missed it because your chart on weeks keeps getting stuck. You have to reload. No, it's all right. I reloaded already. It didn't get stuck. I just explained it. I'm using a VPN. Our longs for the algo. I don't know what you're saying. You missed it. No, it's a fake dump. Live from Sin City Crypto, bro. Shout out to Robin, Dave, and Sin City and the whole team out here. JP holding it down. He said acid reflux from negativity. Yeah, that's funny. Yeah. Watch the 15-minute flag to the 21 now for more downside. Let's take a look at what he's saying here. Yeah, I see what you're saying. Like, now we can do what we usually do. Like, that's a great place to take some profit. It keeps pumping, and now I can set this up for the next trade. And again, the way up is down, the way down is up. It's the same stuff. So if we're bullish, if we're bearish, yeah, we're going to make this move here. What's going to happen is we're likely going to consolidate. We may get one more pump. It might come up to here, and then we do this. But we're going to make one of these at one point, and the 21's going to come to price. This will happen. Mark my words. That's the one thing on my strategy. I know things that are basically 95% going to have. I mean, I think there's a 99.9% chance that whenever your next good entry on the short is when the 21 touches the 15-minute moving average. So collapse for Bitcoin. We hit 7. Where was the high? Let's take a look. The high last night was 79,354. Or was that? No, Monday. Yeah, the high. So the high was 79,000. That was the weekly resistance. And we've gone over the bigger time frames. Now we're going to use the smaller time frames to confirm whether we break the key levels that we talked about on the monthly and the daily. Keep your mind right, baby. Keep your mind right. So this would be the next possible trade. Shout out to everybody here on the live who made gains trading with me today. Why not short when you take long profits? Literally, you can short off your TP. Yeah, honestly, because I just said this, I have mental capital. So in trading, you have two types of capital. You have the capital that you have inside your trading, you have the capital that you have inside of your portfolio, right? That's your trading capital, your TC. Then you have your MC, your mental capital. If you've been in a trade for 18 hours, that was in almost a $500,000 position that you knew at any time Bitcoin went down by like $500 or $600, you could lose thousands of dollars while you're out hanging out with people trying to think. That's mental capital. There's a lot of stress there. And to me, like, if you're just going to jump right back into a short again and long again, short again, long again, and you never give yourself a moment off. I'm telling you, I'm always in Bitcoin long term. So, I mean, I'm doing that. But to me, that's DCA and it's way less stressful. For me as a person, that overloads my system. And I know as an older man with 3 kids, that's what I learned, that, 35-year-old still is, depending on the person. But when I was 35, I still didn't understand this. Like, I push it every. Now I just know when it's time to take a chill, man. It's like, it comes with age. You know what I mean? A young guy's like, why don't you short long every single thing in the game? It's like, because I'm okay with not, and again, think about me. I go live every single day, 365 days a year. Of the 365 days, there's going to be a couple days where I don't jump out of a long and get right into a short. There's going to be some times where I'm just not going to do it. You have to remember, you're watching a data set of me. You're watching like years of me. Today may be the one day that I didn't decide, that I missed it. Usually I would hit one of these trades. That's okay. I'm super humbled by this life, and I learned it's not about the money, it's about the energy, and I just want to make sure I'm helping someone today. I'm pretty sure I did. I hope I did. I hope I motivated somebody to go after their dreams. I hope just by showing up today, no matter how tired I was, you show up to something you're going to go at, even though you didn't feel like it, or and I hope you can see my discipline, and maybe that you can, just like I took discipline from Jim Rohn, you can take the discipline from me just by watching how I show up every day. Just the presence of showing up every day, to me, speaks volumes, right? It says something. My dad always said, actions speak louder than words, Sam. You can tell me you love me, but don't show up late. You know what I mean? Call before and at least tell me that, so I'm not worried where you are. Like, you come and say you love me, but then you show, it's like, my dad always said, man, love is an action word, right? You got to show me how you love me. You don't just love me. Like, and I agree with that 100%, People tell their kids, oh, I love you. And then they miss their soccer practice because they're drunk at a bar or something. Like, you don't love your, everyone does love their kids, but actions do speak louder than words. That's why watch what people do, not what they say, man. They're going to tell you everything you want to hear all the time. 90% of people are fake, and they're going to tell you everything you want to hear all the time. I'm telling you right now. And it's a fact. I'm sorry to say. It's going to be very hard for you to find real, genuine people in your life. It's going to take time. It's going to take some time. A lot of people, too. Look at me. I've got a lot going on. People come close to me and they want to say hi to me. Most people just want to say hi to me so they can get on my live stream, maybe, and then send people to their whatever they're doing. You know what I mean? Use me as engagement farming, And that's a fact. It's been happening to me because I'm one of the most consistent people. So, like, if there was a stream in a town and all the other streams went down, but that one stream never stopped, everyone was going to go to that stream, man. And I have one of the longest streams in the game. It's funny, I use the word stream, and I go through it all the time, all the time. I find out months later that person never loved me, never cared about me. They even used the word love you, Sammy, but their actions weren't loving at all. They were very conspiring and very shady, and that hurts me because I wouldn't do that to somebody. My mom would never have that. She would be so sad if she found out that's who her son was. You know what I mean? Anyway, I don't want to be negative today. I just want to let you know, man, sometimes you got to go it alone, What I love about going alone is it's like a snake shedding its skin. Like, you get off of that that old shell you used to have, and you'll attract new friends that are on the higher frequency you're on, and they'll be the best relationship you ever had. You won't even remember the old ones that didn't serve you, right? When you basically ascend, like say you're this is a great example. You join my trade. If you happen to me, like I joined a trading group, I started making money, I changed my life. My friends saw that I was making money from home. They saw that I was doing something, and some people got jealous of me, and they weren't really that nice to me anymore, you know? Or they took shots at me when they saw me. Like they like, you know, like one of my old friends that I knew in college said, "Why did you stop buying outdated supercars?" You know, the guy could never afford one. He's like, my whole point is, people will find ways to take a shot at you for some reason, because you're going to make them feel insecure when you go after your dreams, because they're not going after their dreams. So you're going to basically put a mirror on them, and they're going to get upset. It's going to like make them feel uncomfortable. I've gone through this a lot, and it's kind of sad. And I don't want being so sentimental today about it. Maybe it's just because of my lack of sleep. But I want to let you know that, you know, if you do become successful, and even in your trades, whatever you're doing, just remember, man, people change, man, and it's sad. The good ones are going to love you no matter what, and you'll see that. That's the greatest thing about being successful, is you'll find out who really loves you and who doesn't, man. I learned a hard lesson when I made my first $1 million and some, and I didn't know I was going to learn those lessons. I didn't know people were going to treat me like that. I didn't know. You know, I read about it, you know. You hear about the sports player and his brother just borrows money off of him, and like, you know, his whole family wants something. You know, they know he made it, right? Everyone wants a handout. And, yeah. And, you know, you can give it to the places that you believe are great. Like, we feed the children. We do our, you know, you use your money to change the world, man. That's the key. That's the key. And, you know, live and let God be the judge. So let's take a look at the 1 minute time frame. Almost looks like it's about to do it again, right? So you could do one of two things. Risking the third pump on the 1 minute is risky. Almost looks like it could be making this rising wedge that these break out parabolically. That would be a massive dump. It looks like it's likely going to happen. I have to be honest. That may be the trade. And it's funny, then I'll take this one and lose it. But Or what you can do is you stay away from the small time frames, no matter what they do, pump or dump, and you just kind of wait for the 15-minute to come back to that 21-day moving average. And I sit there sometimes with this decision. Do I run after that 1 hour? Do I wait for the 15-minute? There's sometimes I don't. I mean, do I go after that 1 minute scalp, or do I wait on the 15-minute? There's days where I've drawn the 15-minute, and then we had a massive dump, and I'm like, damn, I should have taken it. There's days when I take the 1 minute, and then we consolidate in the 15, and I lose the trade. There's days when I take it, and we do get the pump. What I do know about either behavior is this one has the least amount of risk if I wait for the 15-minute to consolidate. It has less risk than going after the 1 minute right now. This is also harder for most people to do, and the trade that's harder for most people to do is probably likely that will win more, because if most people can't handle that positional trade or wait for it at that time period, then there's a good chance that you can win, because the masses aren't going to get you liquidated, or, you know what I mean? Like, who's going to wait 2 hours for a perfect entry on the 15 on the 21? Only, you know, the lifers might. Someone that uses moving averages. You know what I mean? Yeah. So that's just one thing you want to think about. And yeah, I'm not always right. If I was 100%, I'd be a liar, right? I don't win 100% of my trades, and not 100% of my calls play out. I'm a human being, right? Even if I was AI, it wouldn't happen, right? No one is 100%. Have you ever seen someone that never loses a trade, or they never post losses? Whatever, I don't care. That should not judge, but it definitely should make you think, like, something weird going on. There are times where I've hit my last 3 trades. I lost those scalps yesterday, but I haven't lost a big trade in Vegas yet. You know, I'm up pretty nicely. You would think, damn, is he hiding a loss? There's no way he made almost $3,000 last night, and then I made like $2,600 on the stream. Wasn't it yesterday that I sold that? Was that yesterday or was that Monday? I think it was yesterday. I can't remember. My mind is gone, man. Look, I mean, there it goes, the parabolic run, right? I could see both things. It's tough when you can see two things. Which one do you take? I've been behind the trade all day. Usually when I jump in at the last minute, like, this entry was just golden here. And I'll tell you, I'm a bullish bias. I tend to trade bullishly more than bearishly. It's just a fact. You know, a lot of people didn't take the long I took yesterday, but they were waiting for the perfect short entry, and they got in up here at that 77.8. You know, that's crazy. All you had to do is short 78,000. Pretty crazy. Wow, that's a nasty dump. Nasty dump, folks. When you lose a rising wedge, like a falling wedge, this is the measured move. You'll take this length here to there, and then you'll swing this to here, and that goes down to about 75,300, you know? So there you go. Look, that's a shoulder, head, right shoulder. Descending triangle, you see it? The 21 touches on the other side, and look, it's really a little mini ascending triangle. You see that? And again, it's the same exact strategy as before. It's the flag with the 21 right there, and then you know the next move. It's crazy. These flags just keep playing out on the 1 minute, and I just don't take them. Like, I'm all right with that. If all I cared about money, I wouldn't be who I am today. So, humble trading, humble beginnings. But again, what I want you to learn is how powerful the 21 is. And I think that was established today. And I want to learn, you can learn that you can short or long any day. You can take money out of the market no matter what's going on. You can flip that chart and you can get it in, right? Remember, there's mental capital, there's trading capital. You got to realize if you can procure that mental capital, okay? All right? That thing is going, man. It's gone. And it had that parabolic run to the downside. Let me actually zoom out here. I want to look at a bigger picture. I'm not disconnected. That is not true. Wow. I mean, again, there you go. 15-minute just absolutely collapsed. I mean, that's a nasty. It's just so crazy how, like, just last night, I'm looking at this flag. We get the pump. And that was the perfect short. That was at like 6:30 in the morning. I was asleep at the time, you know. But that was a really nice short. Look, right at resistance. And why is it resistance? Because previous support is resistance. Bounce, bounce, fell through, bounce. You can see we 1, 2, 3'd this area, even wick to it right there. We got resistance right there. So you've had 3 times you've touched, 1 time you got resisted. You have to know. And then when we tapped it, resistance. Wow, massive dump. And it went parabolic down. Like it went parabolically. See? And remember, a rising wedge breaks up parabolically. Like, this could still be unsustainable. It might be like a little pump and an extract. And even if once we get to 75K, I still believe if we're gonna stay bearish, you are gonna get an opportunity on this 15. It's like, look at that thing, man. And again, just when the candle closed above the 200 moving average, it's actually below, we're upside down, the short. Same thing that we talked about, right? Look, you lose the 200, you're down. You gain the 200, you're up. 200 is such a beautiful way to trade. And then and then I just added how to, get in with the 21. It's kind of flatlining here, slight bull div, like it could possibly bounce. Looking ugly though. And now I'm just going to delete everything and look at that daily candle. I think I deleted my indicators accidentally. Sammy SP must have 33. I mean, this is a rising wedge too that has broken. That had to stay. You had to stay above 76,009. It's a big deal. That's a big deal. And you got to start thinking, well, there's support right here. There's support right there. We tend to dump the last day of the conference, and today is the last day of the conference. I've seen it now, like every time I go to the Bitcoin conference. It's sad because I know I'm going to have fun, but I know Bitcoin's going to dump too. Like, it's like every single year. Like, it's like we're going to go celebrate Bitcoin, but it's going to dump on our face every time we get together and hang out and talk about it as like the largest group of people, right? Rob, you want to come sit on my lap? How you guys been, man? Rob, man, bring a chair over, man. You should have grabbed. Everyone, we're about to end the show, and I'm sitting here with Sin City Crypto, Robin with a K, I'm pretty shocked. But, you know, it's been a great journey. And I want to ask Rob, man, do you think we bottomed? Do you get into that conversation? Is it a big deal to you? Are you just a DCA guy that's happy with the flow? Or, like, are you trying to find the bottom too? Or, you know, do you think this is the bottom here at 60,000? Or do you think there's more downside?
You know, it's all about probabilities. So, you know, I wouldn't move into it in a position of where I'm going to go all in, and I don't feel confident saying like that was the bottom's in, I'm going all forward bottom. Now, for probabilities, I lean heavy on bottom is in. I do believe the bottom is in. I mean, what do you typically look for in bottoms, right? You have a quick drop to the downside, which you see there, that big candle wick drop. And then you come back and retest, right? And we did that. We did that there. It didn't quite get as low as the original bottom.
Yeah, if you're lower, you're going to sweep the liquidity.
Exactly. And so...
Then you couldn't get them here. Because these guys should have got stopped out here. Schling, grab them all.
Ultimately, you're making higher highs. And if this was an altcoin, I might be concerned, right? I might say, hey, we're going to come back and sweep the liquidity on that big drop. But with Bitcoin, I don't feel that. I don't feel that way, right? Now, if you would have said, hey, like this is a altcoin in the top, outside the top 50, I would have a different perspective on the macro view. Now,
what do you think of this? What do you think we bounced today off the 21? They're just getting people to short hard right now to build liquidity up here, so they can fire this thing off to the upside.
Yesterday's show, I said we were likely to go down to 74 before 77. Did we get down to 74? 74.8. I think that was my call yesterday. It was 74.8 was my move, and then was expecting a breakout up to the upside. A lot of volatility going to go on. You know, you're going to sweep both sides you're going to sweep both sides today, right?
Yeah.
Going in, you're going to get a big move to the upside, downside, all within probably 3 hours, 4 hours today. I mean, and for me, I know a lot of people stay away from FOMC. They're like, I'm not trading it. You know, like growing up, hurricanes come in, you go grab a surfboard, bro. Like that's when you know, like, okay, that's when you know, like who.
Yeah, I remember the kids in my hometowns in the vineyard. Yeah, they're out there in the wetsuits and tropical. Storms,
like you know what, like the scared surfers or professionals or scared traders. You know, they see that volatility and then they're out, right? Mm-hmm. You just have to be a little smarter, right? Maybe you don't paddle out as far, right? Maybe you don't take as much leverage, but at the same time, that's where the money's made. Man, like volatility, that's what you want.
A lot of time for years, I didn't trade actual. What I'll do is I didn't trade FOMC. Like last night, I was in a pretty big trade. I took profits, But what I'll do now is like while the meeting happens, I'll scalp the 1 minute. Like if he says something hot, bear, bullish, and we get above the 200, and I see my model, I'll take it. Right? You know what I mean? So I'll trade live during the session, but I tend to like wait for after everyone gets liquidated on both sides, and then I like to kind of like. Sometimes it takes till Wednesday night for me to like get a feel of what's happening. You know what I mean?
Don't open up a 10x or
exactly.
Exactly. And then just have discipline. Keep whatever strategy you've used to make money. Just stick to it. Don't get
This could double bottom on the 1 hour. So like what I look for here is a wick, and the next in 59 minutes, right? Because it's 12 o'clock. Our next candle will close, right? So what I've been doing a lot of candle body trading now, like just like here, same thing. We go back here. If we go back to this area right here, right? And this is kind of the trade I made yesterday. I used the 2 hour because the 2 hour was touching the 200 moving average. Like it was real close. So I watched this and I said to my trading group, I said, if we get one green candle next to this one, I'm longing, right? I'm going to take the long. So we played it, and right there, I got in right there. right? Right there. And this is kind of what will happen in the Discord, right? Just to kind of show people like, and this is even when I'm not on my best because I'm, but I said looking for the 2 hour to close a green candle above the 200 moving average. This would push my desired along, I cut that little off, but this would get me, get my desired along. And so I'm basically telling you what I'm looking for. I'm telling you exactly how I'm going to trade it, where the stop loss is, where the take profit is. This is a chart, but I had it actually posted earlier, so it looked a little blurry because I took a picture of it. But the point is, it was in altcoins here. But the point is, I basically see what I'm going to do before it happens, right? If they do what I want, I take the trade. And that way, and then I knew I was going to get somewhere up to 77.5, and we actually went higher than that. And so now today I'm looking almost to make the same.
Did your community follow you on that trade there? Or,
many people did. Yeah. I hope. I don't know. I hope they did.
Put a 1 in the chat if you followed.
Yeah, that's a good point. Did you take the trade? Who took the long with me?
Don't be afraid to say no.
Yeah, no, we're okay.
Put a 2 in the chat. Sometimes you miss them. I'm just curious to see how many people.
Bummed I missed you guys in Vegas, but today is the day. Tom, we're hanging out, man. I'll text you, man.
Come on by.
Yeah, just come to the studio, and then we can, start from there.
Yeah, I think we're going to go live in about an hour.
Yep.
And so I think we're going to have, a big bonanza today, man. We're going to have a lot of people in the studio. So
yeah, it's one of those.
We're getting all the cameras out of the storage. So
Okay.
Look at all the ones, man. See?
All right, so we got. That makes.
You're making people money, dude.
Thank you. I appreciate you, man. That's awesome, man.
Love
Some
to
people
see it.
missed it. Some people missed it, but a lot of people took the trade. They took the lifer call, man. Okay. I like it. That's it. That was good. You helped me do more engagement, man. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
No, because was not a
curious,
trade.
Man.
No, because was not a trade alert. I get it. That's another thing I want to talk about in my trading group. It's like I'm not technically a signals group. Like there are times where I say, "Here's the trade, stop loss, position," and honestly, this time I was doing a lot. I was out. We were doing stuff, so I wanted to give people their own way to get into the trade. Right? Like I don't have to live update you. I tell you exactly what I'm going to do if it happens. All you got to do is watch the trade. If you see the green candle, you take the trade, right? I did post right after I got in, right after it happened, I started posting the trade. So they knew I was in, right? I was like, all right. I actually made the trade right when I ended the live stream. I was sitting here and I saw something. Look, this guy's going to make custom shoes. He could do it for you guys too.
Oh, nice.
Custom crypto lifer kicks, Pretty fun. Sin City Crypt kicks would look fresh, right?
I'll just wear yours, bro.
So, where did I? So I'm in. I'm in. Like, this is the long. Like, I took it. I'm up 360, and then next thing I was up 1,100, and then by the end of it, it was up $3,700. I just kept sitting on it, and I ended up taking 26 because the fees were actually pretty high that night for whatever reason, higher than normal. So it was like a $3,000 trade, and I paid like about $300, which is kind of crazy, but it is what it is. So, yeah. And last night I was like sitting there and trying to make the perfect. So look, it's happening again. It's happening again right now, dude. So I would do the same thing I did yesterday. If this candle closes, now the only thing is I don't like it below the 200. That's like a kind of a pet peeve of mine. Like it's like an OCD, but I also like double bottoms a lot, right? So to me, if this candle closes at 1 o'clock, and sometimes I front run it, I'll just get in right now. If I have a business meeting, I'm doing stuff and I know I'm not staring at the charts, right? I'll just get in. And what I'll do is if I made $2,500 last night, 26, I'll just risk like 400 for 1,600 or something. You know what I mean? Like that's a 5-to-1 if we get back up there. Let me look at this. I actually might take this trade now. They've been dumping it all morning, right? And all night. They've been dumping since like 3 in the morning or something. It was kind of playing games. And look.
My only concern is with a stop loss that tight going into the FOMC in 1 hour.
I forgot about FOMC. I forgot it was. See, I completely forgot it was freaking. My short-term memory is off.
Yeah, 5-to-1 right now at this exact time of the day. I don't know if that's.
Let's look at the 4-hour. The 4 hours bullish as long as it stays above the 200 moving average. That's another thing I don't think people realize, right? So you can almost trend this and you could trend that, and that if we see that. I don't know what he's going to say, dovish or hawkish, and I don't think it's going to matter what he says, right? Like, do people even care anymore what Jerome Powell says?
It's his last meeting.
Right? It's like, I thought the last time was his last meeting. I was like, dang it. have to listen to this one more time again. So annoying, man.
You asked me earlier about the bullish and bearish on the macro for Bitcoin. I think if you just really pay attention to what's going on with the Fed rates, and what ultimately kicked off the bull market last cycle back in 2021, and what essentially ended it, and it started and ended with the rate cuts. Maybe not 1-to-1. It was a little delayed, but ultimately you can attribute the bull market to the Fed rate. And here we go again. We have a scenario where a new Fed chair, who Donald Trump has said numerous times that we need to dramatically cut rates. And I think that's exactly what you're going to get. You're going to get a new Fed chair appointed by Donald Trump that's going to do his bidding, who is going to dramatically cut rates. And for that reason, I think that we're going to see not a 0.25 rate cut, but a potentially 0.5, a full percent. And if that happens, you're going to see a lot of liquidity rush into the markets, and ultimately,
man, they don't have a choice, because when they sit on fiat and they don't get into the market, they're going to lose tons of money. Because if you cut the rate, you're going to lose tons of money. You have to get into equities at that point, right? And they're going to front run that too, right? What I think is this, right? When like you and your friend have a plan.
What's our plan?
I'm trying to think of like a good example of this, but like, let's just say when you were a kid, you wanted to ask a girl out, right? Maybe you'd like spend time with her and her, like you try to be in her social circle for at least a day or two before you, like, you know what I mean? Warm up, hey, my name, blah, blah. You're like, all right, on the third day, I'm going to actually let her know, like, but you don't do it the first day. You know what I mean? If you're, I think you can be a little calculated, depending on, I feel like Kevin might not cut the rates his first meeting to just try to show people he's not a puppet. And Trump's with it too. Like, Trump just wants it immediately. Like, he doesn't give a damn. Like, I could, or like, will they play that game so it looks as if it's not, they can't get the criticism, and then the next rate cut, then he's going to start slicing, like, but he's going to make it look, Another thing, even though he isn't, like, it seemed like they were, I don't know if you watched the Senate hearing, it was hilarious. They grilled him hard. I live streamed it. I had to, it was a 3-hour live stream. He left the board in 2011 because he was upset with Paulson and the way they were injecting liquidity into the market. Like, he was and he said this before, and he's written ideas, and he's had he's been public speaking, and he says basically the Fed shouldn't be buying securities as much as they are. They should be raising and lowering the rate more. They should put more weight on the rate than quantitative easing, right? He says because quantitative easing, when they buy securities, they make rich people who already buy tons of stocks richer. But they don't make the average person much richer. But when you lower the rates, an average person can get a car better, can get a better mortgage, right? And my idea, and I could be wrong with this, is that lowering rates is far better for the average person than for the money, the bigger guys. And I feel like he says that. And they say, well, you have 150 mil, and he's worth like 200 million, of course, right? But the idea is this, I think even if, because they're going to call him a puppet, but if you do look at his track record, puppet or not, even before Trump ever had a talk, or this is kind of the way he was going to go about it. I'm going to take this long. I'm going to risk, because I made $3,000, almost $3,000. Why not risk 280 for another $1,200, right? That's how I look at it. Like, to me, and again, very risky. I get it with FOMC coming, adds a little suspense to the mix, bit of a double bottom. That was a nasty short right now. Really, they just kind of, to me, that's a long, like, if you're flushing the longs in a way. I don't love the daily. It looks a little sketchy, but we have a lot of resistance. Could get a bounce in this area. Again, what I just did was very risky. What you're supposed to do is wait for this candle to close. However, what I have done is sometimes this candle rips, and you don't get a chance. So when I get that vibe, I attack, right? So look, we already made $30. Not a lot. I mean, 20%.
15-minute look like on this? I know you had it up earlier.
Yeah, and honestly, that's a bullish engulfing candle.
Yeah.
And the 15-minute, if that closes bullish engulfing, and you're very far away from the 21-day moving average, right? And that's a falling wedge. Falling wedges break up 68% of the time. The one good thing I feel like that makes me successful as a trader is I can just extrapolate this one idea and forget about everything else. Like, I know falling wedges break up 68% of the time. I don't really, you know what I mean? You do have to think of Fed Day and all that, but like, there's basically a 68, and I rounded to 70. There's a 70% chance that this is going to break out, right? Just based off of patterns alone. And I'm very like I stick to my patterns like someone sticks to religion.
And
like
you also got the moving averages crossing there as well.
Well, that could be bearish, right? If that, you don't. That's not a good sign, But you usually pump. We might pump up here and get rejected by it. What I was looking for is if you want to keep shorting the market, my system basically will tell you to do this. It will say, hey, look, that's a head and shoulder going the other way, right? And I'm upside down today. I was messing. Yeah. But that, that's a nice bottom there on the 1 minute. That could be the daily bottom. It very well could be. We don't know for sure. What I do is I'll look at the 15, all right? And I'll say, okay, you're pumping now, but I'll flip it upside down. If you're bearish, what's going to happen is you're going to make a bear flag, like a bull flag. You're going to do something like this. You're either going to make an ascending triangle or you're going to come back down, and you're going to kiss the 21. I know this for a fact. This is like the 21's going to come, price is going to touch it, 21's going to come touch it. Then the short can keep going. Otherwise, you're going to make a shoulder. You're going to rip down hard and make another shoulder. And so, like, you either long that head and shoulder, you get in the risky long I'm in right now, or you wait for the price action to kiss the 21 and continue the short, right? So that's how I see. I feel like those are the best options in the next 2 hours. If and again, that's not going to be a good sign, right? And then you can even see the 50 could come, and that's a bearish cross. That's going to be a death cross, which it is to me leaning a little more short. The long that I took is very risky. That's why I didn't risk a lot. Like my usual position size will be, I don't know, 100, 200,000, right? It's a little under half a Bitcoin. So I'm in for what, like $35,000 or something like that. So not as big of a trade. I'm just saying, hey, could I make an extra 1,000 today? And I'll risk 250 to do it. That way, if I lose, I don't care. And then if I lose, I know it's likely that I can get in on the 15 short later on today. And so I'll have that contingency waiting, and I'll keep this going. And then I have I'll have an option. And I know I'm not over risk. If I lose the trade, I'm not even going to think about it, right? If I win, it's just it's awesome. It just adds to the P&L for the week, right? So that's my idea right now. We'll see what happens. I'm the king of 3%. No one makes 3% more than me. So, yeah. Good insight, man. You've made some great calls in the past. I have to be honest. I've watched your channel. You made some good calls, man. You see the market in a broader picture. You don't get too caught up in the little stuff,
Yeah, no.
Are you a Cardano fan?
No.
Do you have any Cardano? Did you ever own it?
You know what's funny is that with Cardano in the early days, essentially built our studio. I needed funding to put this together, and I sold Cardano at like $1.85 or $2 or something like that.
Yeah.
And
that summer it pumped. That like the May and June.
I was upset. I was like, man, Cardano's gonna keep ripping. I had to sell it early to fund this, and and good timing, I guess. In hindsight, and so I'm just my concern with Cardano is that it lacks a thriving community that is using dApps.
Yeah.
It has a big community. However, the community is not using dApps. The ecosystem is not there. The TVL is not there. Charles Hoskinson will come on air and argue, tooth and nail and say that hey, there's this many amount of dApps and they're building the ecosystem, but you're just not seeing it on the numbers. You're not seeing it on the transactions. You're not seeing it on the TVL. I'm not seeing it on X. I'm not seeing people, when there's a new app that people or dApp that people like, you see it. There's a buzz to it.
Yeah.
That is missing.
100%.
And the
100%.
one, and I'm not saying that you have to have it, but you need to have something, right? Because like Tron, for example, it doesn't have dApps, but you know what it does have? A strong stablecoin ecosystem.
Yep. Everyone's on that TRC, man.
Yeah. And then Ethereum, has its DeFi. You go down the list, you have something, right? And so it's lacking that. Under the hood, it looks good. The tech is there, but nobody's building it.
Yeah.
And if you look at some of the failed video game systems of years past, you'll know that like there was a Sega Dreamcast or whatever it is, Neo Geo, or there was the platforms that had the hardware, it had the horsepower, but you know what? Nobody made video games for it.
Yeah, nobody cared about it.
Nobody bought them because nobody bought it because there wasn't a large library of games. It's the same here, and it's the same with a phone. You build a new phone, you don't have the apps on there, and you don't have the ecosystem, you don't have the users, you don't have the blue text because it's Apple. You're ultimately going to have a hard time in the market. And I'm not saying that Cardano's done, but they just need to fix their ecosystem situation, get some devs in there, maybe incentivize builders to come build. I don't know what the answer is, but right now it's not looking good.
No.
I'm not entering in until I see a shift in the community.
So I bought Cardano with like 2 cents, sold a little bit March 17th in like 2020. I was really regretted it. I remember the day I went to like an aquarium with my sister in Long Island. It was like a freezing cold day, and all I did was feel sick inside because I like panic sold alts, and I bought it back. And eventually when it hit, did it hit $3, right? I think I had about like
$3.15.
I had like $300,000 in Cardano, and like I didn't sell it like a complete clown, like, you know. And then I still own right now. It's worth about $40,000, and like I'm like, I just have this passion for Charles. I believe he's an awesome guy, and I think like my like love relation, like, you know, my like brohood for him makes me hold it, and I want to see him win, but I have to come to the realization, like, even when the memes came out, like they had snack, it's just like,
you can have smart people build things, and you can, and they
cannot take off.
But their business might not work.
Yeah,
Let me tell you, before I got into this, I was in the restaurant industry, right? And let me tell you, the restaurant industry is cutthroat, right?
Yeah,
it's very hard to succeed. You can have the most famous chef. You can pull in a Gordon Ramsay or Wolfgang Puck. They have a long list of restaurants that fail, right?
Oh, yeah.
And so it doesn't matter about the person. It matters about the other variables outside of that person. And so Cardano or Charles Hoskinson can be the smartest, most savvy person. You can believe every word. He can be as gun-ho as possible. But it might be in the wrong time at the wrong market, and you might just be missing the mark for the current situation. And that's it, man.
Yeah. Like, they chose Solana, like they didn't choose Cardano. Like, it wasn't the chain, man. It's sad to say. Like, also there was always like toxic talks, right? It always seemed people would hate. I don't know, I want to get into it, but it seemed like even the energy around the community was split for the last few years, right? And that's interesting. If you were to buy an altcoin, I'm kind of like, before, if you gave me $100,000, I'd put 80 in altcoins. Now you give me $100,000, I'm putting 80 in Bitcoin, maybe 20 in altcoins. Like, it's just completely different now. Like, are there altcoins you'd still consider DCAing into that you think are worth looking into or building a bag of? Or are you just kind of strictly a Bitcoin guy at this point, you know?
No, I would say that you can't fade Solana. I think Solana, Ethereum, Hyperliquid, I think is probably. I think Hyperliquid is an interesting play. Ooh, it's a big red candle. Hyperliquid, something I'm keeping an eye on. It's moving contrary to the market, and so.
Yeah, I like Aster. I think Aster could do something over time. You know what I mean? I know there's some controversy up and down with it, but I just feel like it has utility, and it's connected to Binance, and it makes me just think that how could it not end up if we do have any type of movement or bull run, I feel like Aster and Hyperliquid would get some liquidity and they'd get a move, you know. It's the only one that I like I'm not even like 500 here, 1,000 here, and I already own maybe $8,000 of it or something like that. It's the only one I believe I feel is worth buying into at the present moment. You know what I mean?
And also, don't fight the momentum, right? The momentum shifts, especially right now. You're not seeing altcoin markets pop off and thousands of altcoins running and everything's popping off. It's very concentrated into very small projects, and they're usually not a flash in the pan. If you're really far down the market cap list, sure. However, right, what you're getting is a Zcash that runs for 5 months. You're getting a Hyperliquid that runs for 4 months. You go down the list, and there's Aster, and that's kind of what's happening. And so get a position on something that starting to gain momentum, and then ride it out. Especially with the market rallying, with Bitcoin breaking out of the 60K range and getting back up to 80,000 potentially.
Yep.
I think it's a good time.
What did he say? I just saw something in there. Who's that? Sam, you are playing with the demo account there. Am I really on demo? Oh, yeah, you're right, man. I made a demo trade. That's so funny. I was still on demo, man. They know. I never did that, too. Oh, and I was at 200x leverage. Oh, my God,
200x cross?
Oh, my God.
Blowing everything up. Good thing it was a demo.
I know, right? It's like God was like, no. He's all right for today. Watch this thing make like freaking 50 racks. I'm like, what the heck? You know what I mean? Oh, my gosh. Thank you for saying that. I never trade. I was showing someone how to, that you should. I never do that, everyone. I never trade demo and use fake money. I was showing you guys how to trade demo. Wait, no, I'm not on demo, man. No, yeah, I must be because I would never trade cross combine. Never. Yeah. Yeah, and I have 27 there, not 17.
You ever trade cross for any reason? I don't. I'm just curious. I mean, unless I guess unless you just have.
No, I'm isolated, separated.
Yeah. You ever see a scenario where you should be cross, right? I don't. So that last trade you put in wasn't a real one?
No, it was a demo trade.
Well, you got a better entry point now.
Let's think. Well, I don't know. Now I kind of it started to invalidate, right? Because the 15-minute didn't hold. It was an aggressive entry. Like you really want to wait for that candle to close. I guess it did close green, but look, I mean, now I'm like, I think the smartest move is what we were originally intended on, is to just like flag this out. It looks like we're gonna hit a bear flag and just that to me is the most likely scenario here. We're gonna consolidate. The 21 will come meet, and then we're gonna continue down to like 75K, which is kind of what you said.
Yeah,
74.8.
Yeah, 74.8 was, and you can look back on. I think it was the 4 hour. You'll see 74.8 came down, tested that. Also, it's on the daily. So.
Anyway, yeah. Let me see if there's any last questions for Rob here. I'm sorry for my energy, folks. I know it's a little not the same as normal, but I'm getting there.
We had a good night last night, by the way, man.
Yeah, we did.
What an amazing dinner, man.
That was insane. That was
Amazing
that was freaking nuts, man. Like, boot him, he gone. What is that? Oh, yeah, someone saying something weird to us. Always someone being weird, man. Any last questions for Rob? Anything you guys want to know about Rob? You know what I mean? Any secrets or, you know what I mean? Need a boot sound. Yeah, it's all right, man. We could have had 2 mics. We could have done it better. I get it. We just kind of improv. I could have bumped the gain a little bit, but just close our first candle below the 2-hour 2 SMA at noon. I'll be honest, it's looking bearish, and the 1 minute has been the time frame to catch these shorts. Like, I like to flip it upside down and look at it the same way I trade along, and it's telling you to keep short in these little basically bear flags that look like bull flags. I feel like might be the next trade right there. I mean, every time I did it today, I didn't take it. I was about to tell you it pumped. I didn't take it. It pumped. I didn't take that one. It pumped a little bit too. Interesting. I personally I scalp during FOMC, and I don't open up big trades until after FOMC, especially if I've made money the last few days. Like it's kind of like, say I like surfing. You went surfing, the waves were awesome, and then one day it's like you said, like the storm could come in, and it might come in and like they have these microbursts and that can come in Massachusetts sometimes, and like it can be like horrendous for an hour and they just disappear. And to me, that's kind of like FOMC. Like,
yeah, but the thing is like you get the hurricane warnings. They say don't go in the water. Go seek high ground. And then there's just that one crazy bastard out there with a surfboard just always running out there, and you're just like, that's a boss right there, bro.
That guy, what's his name? Jug Squad.
Who's it?
The Jug Squad. He's like a Florida kid. He's got like, man, a couple million followers, and he does that stuff, man. He lives on the beach. The other day, they drove their boat into a hurricane. Like, it was kind of insane. Like, him and this guy, Tfue, were thinking, I just finding these other YouTubers out, man.
Bitcoin's dumping, bro.
Yeah, it looks like it's going to continue to dump here. I think I may make it short, man. Let's take a look at the short. Yeah, I would make a descending triangle and continue lower. It would come up a little more, play with these levels, come back down, and then continue to dump. Take profit would be 74,415. Stop would be at 76,230. And there again, $360 for $1,000. Like, I don't have to go crazy. And people always ask me, Sam, how come you don't trade huge all the time if you've made tons of money? And I say, because I made a good amount in my life by not losing money. It's kind of like a principle of mine. So if you're up, don't give it all back. You know, like a lot of people would make the trade I made last night and then say, oh, I'm going to go 3,000 for 9,000. It's like, you know, like you keep pushing at the blackjack table, like 5 to 1,000, 1,000. Eventually you're going to lose the whole stack again. I mean, I guess there are times to go hard if you have the right count. But for me, I like to always be happy with the win, take a breather. It helps me keep my money, you know, in the long run. Look, another double bottom. It's interesting, man. But if that basically just starts hanging out, that's going to be a short, just like it was before. 21 touches below the 200. It's a very high probability move to the downside. So I set up the trade beforehand, and then I just wait and wait and wait. Sometimes it just spikes out of nowhere, and I don't, you know, this is, I think, what other people don't understand. Like, they'll see me do this, and they'll just enter the short right now. And I know, like, in 2 minutes, this could change. I want to see it get rejected one more time if I can. And sometimes I miss trades waiting for perfect entries, but then, like, the 3 trades that I take out of 10 end up being really good because I was really, like, really picky about how I got in, you know? So I know by being picky, I can miss. That's something that can happen, but it's all right because then I take a less risky trade, right? You can even see kind of this can be shoulder, head, and shouldery. Doesn't look good to me, man. I'm going to take the short, you know? I didn't wait. I mean, I'm getting impatient, I guess. Lack of sleep, you know? I don't want to wait. But that's what I'm thinking. That's what I'm going to trade right now. We'll see what happens. No worries. Everyone, I'm going to end the stream if that's cool. Let me jump on into the chat. I didn't take a look at the super chats if they came in today. Sam, you were playing with the demo account there. Thank you so much. You people pay. I was just making sure you guys paid attention. That was all. You know what I mean? Yeah. Not starting stream. What are you guys saying? Oh, I hit the wrong one. Yeah, I see what you're saying. Did I hit that? I don't think I saw that, but there's the chart right there, guys. All right. There it is right there. I didn't know that many people were actually still paying attention to me. Wow, that's awesome. That's good engagement. I should always do that a lot and get people to go crazy. That works. You know what I mean? Yeah. Sequoia Multiverse, SKA. Okay. You never know. You guys are not in focus. No, that's a lie. Your camera's off. Your computer's off. Anyway, I love you all. Thank you so much for being here. This is the short that I'm looking at. I could easily get double topped and stopped out. Be careful. It is Fed day. You could just wait. Or, you know, we can trade it during the volatility. But we'll see what happens. I don't think I'll be trading today on Fed day. I'm not really set up for it. I'm not, and I'm happy. I'm really happy about the last 2 trades this week. And I'm up over $5,000 in 2 days while I'm traveling. I consider that, like, I don't want to push it, you know. Some people, that's nothing. To me, it's a lot. I'm still, you know, just 7 years ago, I was still, you know, I was 2 years off a night shift, figuring out my way. I still remember where I came from, so keeps me humble, you know. Yeah. Everyone, thank you so much for jumping on in. Appreciate you all for being here. And, yeah, one last thing.
I was just say thanks for letting me join.
Yeah, man.
That's good.
Yeah. And I love you all. Thank you so much for constantly being here. Please comment, like, and subscribe. Hit the bell for notifications. You can find out when I post my next video. And remember, if you came to the channel, then you're already doing the right thing. Crypto is life. And, you know, I always say I found out the secret to success, Rob. You know what it was? I studied all these people, man. And I read all these books. And I spent hours and hours. And I found out the secret to success. You know what it is? Do you know what it is?
What is it?
You know what it is? It's getting started.
Already on your mind.